this vestige of colonialism that, and I don't mean the Queen, I mean our allegiance and the way we treat with it. Her body was probably not cold on the bed, but the Chief Justice had already sent out his instructions. All accused persons are now being prosecuted at the behest of Rex instead of Regina, and those kinds of things. I can't believe I'm seeing it in my lifetime, but we're right up on the 6:30 break. When we come back, we'll go through all the many things that we have to unpack and prepare our minds to challenge this week and to put the devil under our feet, because that's where he belongs. Stay with me, please. We'll be right back. This is Minette Lawrence on The Morning Connection, flying solo. Pastor Percival is taking a me day. That's what it's called? A personal day.
A difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. Hurricanes can happen, so be prepared.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how we do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, at 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose your problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. May I announce that to keep me company on the microphone, the producer will open his mic. Please remember you're opening your mic. Okay. Well, you want to take Percy's place and give a manly good morning?
Good morning, Jamaica.
That's the manly good morning. I wondered what you would do.
It sounds like Percy's good morning, but what can I tell you? I have done my best.
Well, sir, may I invite you into a brief discussion on the Queen's passing? Sure. What are your thoughts and reactions?
Well, condolences to the royal family. We certainly give thanks for her life. And I'm pretty sure that, throughout not just the country, the world, persons will grieve her passing. I know you have been speaking a lot about what she represents as far as Jamaica is concerned. And of course, I agree with the views that have been expressed. And, I think we ought to be careful about, for example, the Prime Minister made his pronouncements about 12 days of mourning. And we have seen so many things happen within this country that warrants up to a year of mourning, if I should say so myself.
And good behavior.
And nothing has been said. So, we need to get our priorities right. And not to say that we should not mourn the passing of the Queen, but we should put things in proper perspective.
Well, yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a conversation on it as opposed to just a speech or soliloquy or monologue. I don't think we should mourn the Queen in the sense of the way you would mourn someone of whom you have fond memories, with whom you have a personal connection or a meaningful connection. And by meaningful, I'm emphasizing a connection that has worked to your distinct benefit. I reserve mourning for loved ones, but I think it is right and fitting that we acknowledge her passing and that we do so with respect, because the honor you give is the honor you receive. And if we go about, being uncaring and frivolous in our response to something that signifies a change in anyone's circumstances, then it would mean we don't have the heart that we are demanding of others. So I'm being very careful to articulate that position that whether you like someone or not, the end of a life, the end of an era, that person's death and passing is to be acknowledged in various ways. In hers, I say it may be that she truly desired to do penance, to address the issue of her bloodline, her family's rape, pillage, murder, exploitation of innocent and helpless persons, not just once, but time and time again, carrying it from generation to generation. And even in today's experience, the Windrush generation continues to suffer under the boot heel of an uncaring government, institution, monarchy. Maybe, given all that is said about her own personal qualities of piety and dignity and compassion, that she would have wanted to address it, before she dies. And so, having died, I say to myself that she may have died with some regret that she didn't get to do it. I understand that persons are trapped within the constraints of what's happening in their time and politics and so on. And she may have been slowly trying to work her country towards that place, and she died not having done it. So I said, wow, if she is the woman they all say she is, and that she was a God-fearing, conscientious person, then she may have said something on her deathbed to her son. I hope she did, but there would be some regret that she didn't do it.
Yes, I agree. I would like to think that she did. I have seen enough signs to say that, yes, she was God-fearing. At the same time, we are in control of our own country, I would like to think. And, in saying that, our leaders should take charge. It's about time we start to deal with our country ourselves. We can't be swearing allegiance to the Queen. What is that about? Come on.
You and I may shortly go to a place where they will ask us to rise and say something. Let's see how that goes, because I don't think it can come off my lips, personally. It never did. I mean, when I started to practice law and was introduced to the pomp and pageantry of the other time, there's something ridiculous and confusing to walk into a court of black men and see white wigs on their head and see them with all the color and the pageantry that comes from Britain that you would see on TV or there's just something weird. To me, it's like we're play acting when I see it. Thankfully, the wigs are gone. But when you stand in a courtroom down in the heat of St. Elizabeth or, one of the out-of-town courts and hear them saying, all rise, and saying, God save the Queen, and now to go and say, God save the King, me sure there's going to be some good humor as they try to make the transition. And to say, we used to say the Queen against Lowell Lawrence, now it's going to be the King or Rex against, and some people going to want to, used to be Regina, some people going to want to fiddle with the Latin, even to have these Latin phrases on our paperwork. There's just something out of this world ridiculous about it. And to think that for a space in time, we had the opportunity, we wouldn't have had to offend the Queen. She's dead and gone. And believe me, our kids and our grandkids are not expecting anything better from us. And we didn't even pause. There are at least 2 islands who have come out already saying they are looking at republic status now because there's death has introduced a break in the covenant.
Well, on top of all of that, we have seen in previous years, and certainly up to today, prisoners being sent back to Jamaica, people who have lived in the UK all their lives, and yet still they are sent to Jamaica with no family, no connection, to the island. And they are sent back.
So that's why I said we should not be mourning.
Yeah, the Queen, now the King. They are the head of state, yet still for you to go to the UK, you have to go and get a visa, and God bless those who get through, if they can. You and I, we don't know what would happen here. We are speaking this way. Next thing you know, when we go there, we'll never get it because we are speaking in the way that we are.
Speak against.
We have been victims of that kind of behavior, even when we do nothing wrong. So what can I tell you? I mean, it's about time we wake up. It's about time we start to rally around the people. There's another subject that you brought up earlier, which I'm sure you're going to touch on. And we'll speak of that later in terms of our foreign affairs ministries.
Oh, yes.
How they stand up for us as citizens. Well, they certainly don't. And these are things we need to address. And then we wonder why we have crime. We wonder why things are the way they are. We need to wake up.
Yeah, this morning I did ask you a question because it was puzzling me. I said, we have a Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and you and I are working on a project trying to get people to travel and transit the United States. And those who don't have United States visitors visas are being told that you cannot transit the United States unless you have a visa to visit there. Now, these are not persons proposing to visit the United States. It's just that the airline that they're traveling with has plotted a route that passes through the United States. I remember when I was a child, traveling to and fro, I would see the in-transit lounge where persons who were not permitted to land in the U.S. would sit and wait for their connecting flights. That has disappeared. And I had the curiosity about our own foreign affairs department, ministry, playing a role in ensuring that holders of a Jamaican passport have right of passage through countries that are friends of ours. The United States is a major ally. I mean, they certainly extract their due for the allegiance when it suits them. And I just wondered. So it's a question I'm going to pose because I see how expensive it is for persons to travel around the U.S. Simply because they can't pass through the U.S.
But the U.S. is one place. Look at what happened in Panama.
In Panama, yes. Well, the ministry took a very hands-off. They didn't know what was happening and they couldn't speak until they know. And Panama is not a hostile place to Jamaica. Have they spoken?
Because I haven't heard anything.
We do need to do some follow-up on that. I'm very curious. I'm curious on how our Ministry of Foreign Affairs performs for the benefit of Jamaicans, especially when we see how the government performed for the benefit of the minister.
Well, we saw the minister trying to escape the position the other day when she went for the head of the
Commonwealth. That's what I'm talking about. We spent good money pursuing that dream for her, and so now that she's back in the job, she needs to earn it off, work it off by producing something that is of use.
And she would have gained some friends. whilst
Absolutely.
on that journey.
That tour of duty
So
should
let
have
us see.
should have
Let us
made her
see
way more
that which
popular.
they said she gained. Let us see how the country benefits from it.
So even as we try to exhort higher performance out of our local servants, the ministers and such, I'm looking at I was hunting for a story that was, let's see, it was carried yesterday. It concerns the chief servants of neighboring our Caribbean islands doing for their people what we're trying to get ours to do for us. Antigua and Barbuda planning to vote on becoming a republic within 3 years is the report. Not surprised that Gaston Brown, who came out giving us the details of what was going on behind the scenes with this Commonwealth caper. Yes, he is leading the charge where that is concerned. He says Antigua and Barbuda plans to hold a referendum on becoming a republic within the next 3 years. This is a matter that has to be taken to a referendum. He told the news, he made a report on it after a local ceremony confirmed Charles III as the country's king following Queen Elizabeth II's death. That must have been painful to actually stand in your parliament and confirm this. The tiny Caribbean island nation, which became independent from Britain in 1981, is one of 14 Commonwealth members who share the monarch as their head of state. Of course, Jamaica is in the lead position for that one, embarrassingly so, I would venture to say. So they didn't see the death of the Queen as an opportunity to dig down and relax. They saw it as an opportunity to put the issue to the nation, to their country. And they're a tiny place. They have a population of less than 100,000 people. You hear me?
Yes.
Less than 100,000 people. And this tiny band of oh boy, what do I call them? Warriors?
Yes.
Yeah. Jamaica says we may follow, but we've got to see just a lot more positive movement in that direction. I recall that on the day they were celebrating African peoples, Minister Grange's announcement in the papers, or she was quoted as saying that we're going to fight for reparations. Any evidence of it, sir?
None that I can see. I'd like for somebody to put together, and it might have been done before, but certainly it would be worth repeating, especially now, the pros and cons of the British monarchy as it relates to Jamaica. Why should we keep it? Why should we not keep it? Well, I'm pretty sure at the end of the day, it will be heavily weighted towards letting it go. But it would be useful for the people to understand what it represents, because people are giving opinions without having a full understanding of what it means for us as a country. And it's about a time we start to educate our population on these matters so that they can take informed decisions. Because oftentimes people are just repeating what they hear, not having a full understanding or grasp of what it means to them. Because at the end of the day, the question will always be asked, what does it mean to me? Why should I care? And people need to understand why they should care about these things.
Yeah. I know for sure there was a very interesting article on the weekend, published on the weekend, comparing formal media response to the news of the Queen's death to social media response.
Yes.
As you know, social media is really just the uncensored voice of the people.
Right.
And some of it was irreverent, some of it quite hilarious. On social media, the Prime Minister took a drubbing.
Yes.
There were offers because of the pronouncement and the recent trauma from the pandemic. Persons were making jokes about whether or not he had given a sufficiently clear instruction, so we wouldn't be penalized because we were fined for not wearing masks.
Yes.
There were offers about mourning. If we are to mourn, please tell us, sir, what is the level of grief we need to display, and so on and so forth. But I see behind that the ordinary man rejecting this idea
Yes.
that, one, we are required to mourn.
Yes.
And that caused me to reflect on what does it mean to mourn,
Yes.
and what is the right response of an oppressed people to the death of the oppressor. We've spoken about it before. I had looked at, when your enemy's neck is under your foot, what is your response? This is slightly different because she has died because it is appointed to man that they die. And it's good to know that the rich and the powerful, they also die. That might be your victory, but that's not the victory that you participated in creating. That is just how the Lord rescues us sometimes. You just want to hang on until the oppressor dies, because he must die.
You know, it's interesting. I mean, we live by kingdom principles, and we talk about forgiveness. And certainly, yes, I believe it, I live it, to the best of my ability. This is not even about, the Queen anymore. It's about our own people, our leadership. That's what it's about,
But it's always about that. Because even when we say forgiveness is necessary in the absence of repentance.
Yes.
The individual may not have repented. I pray for her own soul, meaning I hope that she did repent. But we know that repentance comes with conduct that displays the change of heart. We didn't see the change of heart during her lifetime. But you know what? Deathbed pronouncements sometimes are even more powerful than the things you say in life. If she left her son with a clear instruction to step away from the path of destruction, what we are doing with these people whom we colonized and don't have the courage to take responsibility for the damage we have caused, and to be bold and truthful about our repentance from that conduct. Her son will fare no better than she has done. She was a woman, from all accounts, she had wisdom and dignity, and she was a good grandmother to some. If you listen to, for her grandson or grandchildren of mixed color, not so great.
Yes, yes.
And at every turn, they've tried to silence the young woman who is speaking out, Harry's wife.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know that Archie is mourning the grandmother with quite the same intensity as the others, because it seems he had less time with her in her presence. I tell you, when you are doing up the final accounts, when you're closing the books on a person's life, it very much depends on where you're standing, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It certainly does.
But if it's the final statement, shouldn't it be a fair and true account of how she ran her business? Let's put it that way.
It definitely should be.
Because no, she can't carry anything forward.
No, well, certainly not.
So the books have to close.
And it's going to be interesting to see the new chapter, what it looks like, whether or not there will be a softening of the position, whether or not the apologies will come true, whether or not the mending of fence is even in that family, because you talk about
Harry and Meghan.
Harry and Meghan. I mean, the world is watching that one, and it's going to be interesting to see where it all, ends, or whatever the case may be.
I'm not a royal watcher, I'm not a royalist. I have no great interest in their family carryings on, but to the extent that it has impact on the policies that are pursued in our country,
Yes.
You have to take note of it. So I take note of it in that regard. And I'm curious now. You and I went to a funeral on the weekend.
Yes.
The lady was 86 years old. 9 children, 19 grandchildren, and another 9 great-grandchildren. Altogether, I remember it was 37 souls to her credit.
Yes.
Not including her own. 3 of her kids predeceased her, and the rest went on to participate in many aspects of public life. And I'm looking at it, and I was drawn back to that scripture from Isaiah, where he was speaking about the downfall of those leaders, those persons who should have done better by society in the positions they occupied. But instead of them, it was being said that they destroyed the land and killed the people. And I thought of Queen Elizabeth.
Yes.
It didn't begin with her, but she continued it.
Yes.
And I was looking at that lady's life, you know. She was born in 1935, and I was casting my eye back on what was going on in Jamaica in 1935. A young female child is born into a particular environment. And given her point of origin, what would it mean for the children she gave birth to and raised and so on and so forth? And I look at it from that perspective and I said, wow, this woman is blessed, was blessed, and her offspring, their names will be remembered.
Her legacy is intact.
And
her legacy is intact.
Yeah.
And you see, this is it, because, you know, last week you asked a question, you know, what happened to the children of our former leaders? And it's a very interesting one, you know. We don't realize that we ought to be careful about the foundation we are laying for our children. We are living in the now, and yes, we understand living in the now. But what are you doing for your children? What are you sending forward for your children? You know, when you oppress people, when you deal with people unfairly, unjustly, do you realize that it comes right back to your children? And is not something that money can cure? People don't begin to realize that.
But you know, there is the subtext to this discussion you and I are having is covenant.
Yes.
And we know that covenants are by their nature intergenerational. Meaning when one dies, when one person dies, even the one who started the covenant, when that person dies, the covenant continues to the benefit of or the disadvantage of his successors in title, unless certain specific steps are taken to break the covenant. And for you to break a covenant, especially a covenant that is powerful and that speaks, you need to replace it with a stronger, more powerful covenant. So on the spiritual side, we look at Golgotha, the cross where Christ died, creating the foundation for the new covenant that formed the New Testament. And that covenant has broken or released us from the oppression of the earlier covenant, which had worked to the disadvantage of man because we could never live up to our part of the covenant. A covenant has two sides. The covenantor gives something to the benefit of the covenantee, let's use old-time words. But if you can't do the things that you should do, you can't claim the benefits of the covenant. So you're under covenant, but it's not working for you. Like how a king or a queen will bless a land with its presence as leader.
Yes.
So if they win you in war, or if they seize the land and you're on it, you become their responsibility, and their patronage is supposed to give you some benefits. If a good king or queen will ensure that people have good trade routes, they can travel to other places because they make treaties with neighboring countries. A good king or queen will be modest in their taxation requirements, so they don't strip you of everything that you have to to support their lifestyle or their army or whatever it is they need money for. A good king or queen will make sure that the courts of justice run smoothly. It have the right resources. If it needs stenographers and technology and whatever, it makes sure you have that. If the judges misbehave, it can discipline the judges, because usually the people can't discipline the judges. So a good king or queen is a blessing.
And the citizens are heard.
And they have a place for citizens to be
that's
heard.
the most important part of it.
Yes.
The citizens must be heard. You can't suppress the citizens. Boy, I tell you.
So I'm just walking you through what it looks like from the superstructure. When you're under a covenant, you're covered by a king. Mm-hmm. What is it that the king should be pouring down to the people, and what the people should be sending up to the throne? Very much like what we have in Christianity, where there's the throne room and God is hearing prayers, and through our love and worship, he hears, and in his beneficence, he sends blessings, rains blessings upon his children, open a window over in the atmosphere. So I'm laying the foundation for us to come back and look at not just how we ought to be responding to this change in the monarchy, but also at the lower level, meaning nationally now, what should we be doing to ensure that we put in place a covenant that speaks with integrity and righteousness and goodness? Stay with us. We're going to be right back.
A difference you can hear. A difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
Some 44% of Jamaica's population live in the rural parts of the country. Infrastructure in some of these rural communities are non-existent or underdeveloped.
The task before us is not just to make Jamaica a whole, the place of choice to live, work, and raise family and do business, but to make this a reality for people within communities right across the country.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond McKenzie. To address the needs and improve living conditions in these areas, the ministry developed an initiative geared towards transforming selected communities over a 2-year period. Under the project, dubbed the Rural Development Program, $650 million will be spent to develop Chambers Pen in Hanover, Cheswick in St. Thomas, Cheesefield in St. Catherine, Lawrence Tavern in St. Andrew, and one community in Clarendon.
The works scheduled for this project include water, electrical infrastructure, internet access, roads, sidewalks, community parks, indigent housing, and we use the program to give new life to rural community over the next 2 years.
The program, which will be replicated in the other rural communities across the country, is expected to create temporary and permanent employment opportunities. $223 million is being invested in upgrading infrastructure in Chambers Pen. The work is far advanced, with students attending the newly built primary school at the start of the 2022-23 academic year. Cheswick in St. Thomas is the second community that will be benefiting from the ministry's rural development program. The area was chosen because its infrastructure is underdeveloped, and residents have made several reports of a lack of reliable water supply.
What we are going to be rolling out in Cheswick over the next couple of months, we're going to be, first of all, dealing with Hill 60. We will start the process to carry out the repairs to Hill 60. Rural Water will work with the National Water Commission to look at how to improve the water supply system to the community.
Funds will be provided to have water trucked to the area until the series of developments are completed. 100 households have already been identified for retrofitting, and 6 houses will be built for persons in need.
We are no longer just going to retrofit 100 houses and just leave it just like that. The Jamaica Public Service Company will come in at the beginning of the process, and they will be a part of the discussions with JSIF and rural electrification and the rewiring of these houses to make these people eligible to be connected officially to the Jamaica Public Service System.
A Social Development Commission assessment survey has revealed that in addition to an improved road network and access to water, residents have expressed a need for recreational spaces.
So what we are committed to do is that unfinished community center behind us that you can barely see through the bushes. We will, after we have concluded all the other arrangements, we will erect a basic school and a community center, and we will restore this playing field.
Mr. Mackenzie says the development approach being undertaken is a joint one with the Ministry of Education and Youth, the Office of the Prime Minister, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
And I am quite sure at the end of the day, everybody in the community will be happy, will be pleased with the improvements that we are doing.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Desmond Mackenzie. For further information about the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development's Rural Development Program, visit mlgcd.gov.jm or call 876-618-7360 tonight.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
A difference you can hear, a difference you can feel.
Best FM, keep listening.
Warning, when there is a hurricane warning, button don't die down, everything. Lift appliances and furniture off the ground and secure your valuable items. If you wanna boat, secure it on land and turn on your yard. If you a fisherman, make sure you turn off every breaker, and before you sleep, turn off your generator. Flooding, that is a real danger. If you live a gully bank, live a bank or low line area. If you see flood waters are rising, get out, get out. Heed the warning. If your land starts slipping and a sliding, get out, get out. Heed the warning. Hurricanes gonna happen, so be prepared. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling you, cause trust me.
Waiters, Vouchers, Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 877-676-8935.
Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on the Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good. It's better. But nothing beats.
All right. Oh, welcome back. And to those online who are chatting it up, oh, thank you so much for your input. We're gonna share it. Conrad, I feel you. And we're gonna talk about forgiveness, because forgiveness is not for the person who has been forgiven. It is for you who must release the negative energy that might cause you to be off track. And that's what we mean when we talk about forgiveness. How to do it is an important part of our development, because we can spend too much time being distracted by, the misdeeds of others, and we miss the opportunity to do what we need to do for ourselves in grace and with compassion and moving forward.
Yes, but in all fairness, I think what Conrad is saying is that repentance and forgiveness go together, and he feels better.
That's in your personal life. It goes together in your personal life.
Yes.
But you can't control when another man will repent.
True. But I know what he's saying.
But you can't have him up.
I know what he's saying.
He becomes,
and then I'll think about,
Yeah.
But you and I know that's not how it works.
It won't work that way.
Not how it works.
And we're careful in separating the steps, because if you become bogged down with that thought process, it will hinder you. I have found it to be so. It's not even about now trying to please God. Take that out of the equation. It's not because we are, loving Christians why we talk about it. We know how the human mind works, and he designed it to work in a specific way. Despite the existence of the word multitask, we cannot multitask.
Yes.
We do things sequentially. We might shift priorities from time to time, and we might have certain things on our plate and say these are competing priorities, but we cannot do more than one thing at a time, the human brain.
Right.
And so if when I look at my husband, I'm seeing someone who abused me, I am going to be thinking on how I can fix that issue and get my justice. If I cannot take that off the front page of my mind, I will not be able to plan effectively for my family, for my own needs, for my country, for the business if we do business together, because I'm constantly being distracted by my preoccupation with that. So I have to release that.
Yes,
and that's what I am talking about. So the queen is dead and gone. She's beyond any rage that I might feel for all the opportunities she missed to do things right.
Right.
If I am wasting my energy just even spending time thinking about what she didn't do right, I will not be in a position to address her son, who is sitting in the seat now, and I don't want him to make the same mistake she did. So I have to release that and focus on the here and now. That's for me, for my own progress. She has missed her opportunity, and, pray he doesn't miss his. But in terms of our well-being, our spiritual health, and our ability to focus and drive the bus in the right direction, we gotta stop looking in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, and that's true.
And I'm sure Conrad will agree with that part. Then he asked the big question, why Jamaicans don't make their own covenants? And that is the question of the day. We must make our own. We must make our own, which brings us to the Negro Sign. You're wondering how that works. How that works. Because
no, they can't find Negril.
Negril
it
not
has
lost.
been lost for so long. Now that we have this wonderful sign, everybody can find it.
And so obviously persons are saying $12 million. Well, what sound like a scrap metal sign sitting on blocks of concrete?
I want to see a cost-benefit analysis on this move.
Well, cost analysis first, because the benefit, that part is you're just being cheeky now. The cost of it. So Negril has a sign Just the 6 letters. That's a $2 million. That's a $2 million per letter. Negril has a sign that costs $12 million, paid for by the tourism product development company is the one that was responsible for commissioning the production of the sign. I think they were feeling very comfortable because the Montego Bay sign was $17 million.
In all
and
seriousness,
they've come in at $12 million for this one, even though Montego Bay is longer. The word is longer.
In all seriousness, I think the sign is a tourist attraction.
Well,
it was made as a tourist attraction.
It must be because people are visiting it.
I'm telling you. Whoa.
$20 per tour.
Yes.
Oh, and we're getting some pricing information from the back room.
Oh.
It could be $20 per tourist. But that would include the local auditors who have gone and done a remarkable job of exposing, one, the quality of the workmanship, which apparently it is not the best. I mean, the people have gone.
Is this an improvement over the Welcome to Montego Bay sign?
That's what me said. They must have been
and
feeling
what
very
will the
good.
Welcome to Kingston sign looks like?
Well, we have to spell out
and
the
not to
number.
mention Portmore when that comes in.
But hold on a minute. Did they ditch? I think they ditched the welcome to. Was welcome to a part of the Mobe sign? No, you say is this a part of the welcome to Mobe? I don't think they've been
welcome
spare.
to, but you know.
Yeah, they've been very spare. We can applaud them for that. No extra words. It's just Negril. I think the other one was Montego Bay.
And they just take the fun out of the fun the tourists get to try to find the place.
Find Negril.
Yeah, it's a part of the fun.
Yeah, the colors are beautiful. The idea of how they have positioned it, they're like on plinths, concrete plinths. You see it in the newspaper, but you've got to check out what's going on social media, what people are saying.
And I'm sure it will be soon overgrown by the plants that they put right beside it.
Yeah, well, what you're going to hear now is that the maintenance contract is about $12 million per year. So people can trim the plants, wash off the concrete, and keep it looking. And there's a hilarious post on Instagram, is it? Where someone said one good gust of wind, and you see all of the Negril letters in the air. Because so it is if you have battened it down and kept it from disappearing when there's a strong burst of wind. So under that covenant, what are we getting? See, before the break, I was saying to you, the covenant with a king is you get the coverage from the king. Security, leadership, good policies for trade and so on, treaties with your neighbors and so on. That's what you're looking for under the king. And reasonable taxation, where you pay tribute to the king for covering you, but it's not so extortionate that you begin to grumble and complain.
Yes.
All right. So we've had the British monarch as our head of state. I'm not sure what we get except membership in the Commonwealth, and we see what that cost us when Kamina tried to pursue it. So it's time for someone to catalog the benefits of being under this coverage, limited though it is in terms of we have parliamentary independence. We should look at the benefits of that covenant mostly, and we should look at the deficits. Mostly what we have experienced is a parliamentary style of management which makes the parliament answerable to the monarch, frustrates the people who vote them in the exercise of any power we might have to censure them, recall them, hold them accountable, and inquire usefully or meaningfully into their behavior. Mm-hmm. So you have members of parliament, and you have local government arrangements that are superseded by centralized management institutions like the National Works Agency that I think is Hanover said they want to kick them out. The Hanover Municipal Organization says the NWA should come out of their business because they're not getting good service. So we are not maintaining any good arrangements under this covenant for ourselves, because we can't blame the Queen for what happened with Negril and the Negril sign. We can't blame her. She has left us to run that part of our affairs. that sign in Negril, I tell you, there are many things, like every day you see something that you said, that there is the last straw. We have so many last straws now that we should just go up in flames. That is just a joke. Persons are taking pictures of the gaps in the metal work that tell you that water going to go into it, it's going rusty up. And, you know, some have even threatened that the scrap metal people are just going to pull it apart because they've gone and they've sounded it, knock on it, and discovered that is some kind of metal fabrication. Yes. So in this day and age, when people are using fiberglass and things that are more impervious to the elements, we make a metal sign and paint it beautifully. I don't know if the paint job is as beautiful as it looks in the picture, but the colors they chose are nice. You know, the neon color. And just to look at the lineup of people on the front page, it made the front page. And there are some things that are immediately eye-catching. Jamaica with so much verdant greenery. You have some scraggly plants around it. You're telling me we couldn't put some full bush? Look at it and tell me. No, but you're going to expose it now. This is the photo session. Make it look lush. Even if later on, you know, they go, oh boy. And to see the people clapping, it so reminds me of the emperor's brand new garments. Watch the people around it looking as if this is the best thing ever.
Well, you know, I know the pose that B is just sitting and said, don't worry, 9-day wonder, it soon pass. So they just sit down and wait it out. It really don't mean a thing to them, you know, so.
But I can tell you, there must be somebody in the tax offices who is going to give CJ's construction a call. Because the name out there, you don't have to ask who get the money for this ridiculous sign.
I guarantee you they'll quicker give you a call.
Well, so, they already know my situation. Negril's Jam Iconic $12 million welcome sign, sponsored by the Tourism Development Company Limited, TPDCO, with construction by CJ's Construction, now greets travelers to the resort town following its official unveiling last Friday. And the tourism minister is cheering it on, looking just like the emperor. You can finish that thought.
That's a complete thought.
No, I mean, just looking as if, wow, this is the best suit I've ever worn. Come on, Jamaica. Anyway, it's $12 million at a time when people are going back to school and feeling the pain of what it costs to make things work. Persons are struggling. That $12 million could have start fixing back the bridge in Troy, or provide subsidies, or provide transportation subsidies to move the teachers and the students who have to travel an additional 17 miles to get to school. And, you know, until we begin to just see the immediate connections between the waste and the suffering, we're not going to have this sufficient motivation to get things right. Kevin Galloway says, he said it ends with "for Jesus' sake." I'm assuming that he's at the Newmarket police station selling a little pear, plantain, and banana. Praise the Lord's anointed maid servants and men servants for Christ. Hallelujah. Straight Up says, Minette, see if you can fathom why Britain is having only 10 days of mourning, while the great Mr. Holness has declared 12 days of mourning. Was it to cramp the PNP conference? Well, the PNP already said my conference is going on. PNP could dub their conference as a 9-night for Mrs. Queen. Well, what do you think?
Some of us must outdo the other. So if them have 10, then we're going to 12. Yeah, that way we are ahead of them.
Yes, and somebody who is sick in bed says TPDCO is a slush fund. You don't recognize who is saying that? Who we know should be sick in bed. But bless you, Pastor Percy, for weighing in on it. Let me see what else now. Conrad says, this fool tourist arrival is up, and he's gloating that 5,000 more tourists come to Jamaica. However, remittance from abroad is more than what tourists bring to Jamaica. But that is true. Remittance money is like, $3 billion a year. And then he invites the Queen to do something that she is no longer able to do, Conrad. She has died. Do you see what Conrad want the Queen to do?
Oh no, we won't.
He wants a kiss from the Queen, but she can't kiss you anymore. She died. And then
Anyway,
he quotes a Calypso song, Captain, the ship is sinking. We are in trouble.
Yes,
we are in grave moral trouble.
We keep saying it that we need to realize that we are a part of the solution. The solution is not going to come from government. They are a part of the problem. We are a part of the solution. And the sooner we realize that and start to take the necessary step, is the quicker we will have a solution to the problem.
So I had made a list of things that I want to make sure that, we pay due homage, tribute this morning. One of them had to do with my sister's mom, who were laid to rest on the weekend. And I had the opportunity to just take a quick look at what Jamaica was like in her childhood and compare it to what Jamaica is at the time of her death. She was born in 1935, and in 1930s Jamaica, we were in a state of great upset and unrest, going right down to 1938-39. Just before war, the Second World War in the 1940s. So really, war became the great distraction to some extent. But by 1938, the docks were ablaze, plantations were under fire. And, well, there was no adult suffrage at the time. So a female child born in rural Jamaica at that time had no hope of getting any education, owning land in the cities and bigger towns where people were able to work. They were fighting for higher wages. They were looking for better working conditions and greater economic opportunities, which were few and far between. Doesn't that sound?
That's so interesting, because that was before independence.
That was before
we are
independence.
independent, and the same things are happening.
In fact, it has worsened.
I
know for a fact that Miss Pearl was trying to acquire land right up to the time she died.
Yes.
I know she was trying. And that was one of the regrets I felt, that, she didn't see her name on a piece of paper as landowner. And she died at 86 years old. But in her personal circumstances, that lady did everything she could. She planted her crops, she reaped, she got market, she raised chicken, and she had 9 children whom she put through school. Today, some of them are teachers who not accountant. She have Grand Pickney, who is a nurse, one driving, operates like a bus, one of her sons. Everybody living, because 3 of her kids died. Even her daughter, who died most recently, about 2 years ago or a year ago.
Yes, about 2 years, yeah.
She was a cosmetologist, and a wonderful one at that too. That lady, Miss Pearl, was an entrepreneur. And her son said to me that, he wanted to address a certain issue, and I'm going to raise it now. When Miss Pearl was getting her passport to go to England, she traveled on plane too, for those who might say she didn't step out. She traveled to England. They put in her passport that she was a peddler, and he was offended by it.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly
and
so.
It's just one of those things, and this is not 1930. She did go to England. Must understand that would have been in the last, say, 20 years. So it's under independent Jamaica that the passport office, in describing what this woman does, defined her, categorized her as peddler. Now, I don't know of peddler to be any profession of dignity.
But that's interesting. Normally, when you make the application, aren't you the one who put your occupation in it?
Well, it may be that she got assistance filling out the form.
Okay.
Given circumstances, because one of the things he said his mom wrote to him from England, so she was literate to some degree, and he's a teacher, and he was saying when he looked back at the letter, he has kept the letter. the construction, the choice of word. He just imagined what it would have been like if she had got proper schooling. So I deduced from that though she was literate, it might have been functional, but not to the point where she could define her own occupation. So I see her as saying to someone, well, I sell a little this, I sell a little that, I plant up a little this, I plant. And that someone didn't say, well, then let's make you a farmer.
Yes.
Or let's,
make you an entrepreneur.
Or, no, not that word at all.
Yes.
They put her as peddler. And to the day he was laying her to rest, he regretted that that's how we see ourselves. But I'm making the point that is somebody in Jamaica. That was somebody in Jamaica defining her in that way.
Yes.
And the word hustle is used a lot.
I remember.
And I don't know.
Come up in something else that you were looking at recently?
Well, yes, because our now Minister of Legal Reform and so on had once used the word hustler to describe lawyers. But
I'm pretty sure there was something else, but I'm sure it will come back. Just maybe about a week or so ago. Anyway, I'm sure after the break, we'll come up with it.
All right, because we got the signal and we're not ignoring it. Stay with us, please.
A difference you can hear. A difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
People, are you listening?
If you choose to remain at home after an evacuation order has been issued, you do so at your own risk.
Get down, get down! Heed the warning!
Veteran Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veteran Printers, your best choice in printing.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash. Located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash. The best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3. Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, how you do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and me check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling him, cause trust me.
Waiters, Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back. This is interesting because during the break, Lowell remembered who was labeled a hustler inappropriately, and Earl Brown said he looked up the meaning of peddler, which we did too. And 2 things have come out of the review of the meaning. The first one is that peddler in today's vernacular includes peddling drugs. So it have criminal intonations. But peddler from of old is simply a person who, we just say, is an itinerant vendor. They walk up and down and sell things, usually things they make. And the condition of a peddler, of course, some places now will say you're an artisan. You're selling your homemade products, and those are very special if they're of a certain quality. But a peddler is usually someone of no fixed place of abode, not connected deeply to land, and not someone you would call an entrepreneur. But today we see persons who we see them as micro businessmen and women who are doing things for themselves, whether or not they have permanent connection to land. They can lease, rent, borrow, catch, license, whatever. And we are now recognizing, in fact, I think it started with Prime Minister Siaga, who put up some kind of marketplace downtown. You remember that one with the look like many little cages?
Arcade.
The arcade.
Yes.
And to allow vendors who were peddling their ware in the streets, wares in the streets, to allow them a place from which they could sell. And then came about the phrase ICI, informal commercial.
Those had to do with the persons who were traveling to Panama and back.
Yes.
And they are the ICIs.
Right,
yes.
right. So if you're getting the goods you peddle, if you get them from Panama, because you have to travel on a plane to go to get them, you were upgraded from peddler to informal
commercial importer. ICI.
Right, ICI. I remember that. And, I think from that point onwards, a lot more dignity was assigned to these, small investors or entrepreneurs who were just seeking to trade and to move from, most time, you move from the carrying your goods on your body to in the back of your car to a stall in a market to a store. There's a progression that can occur if the person is treated with dignity and given some accommodation in our social arrangements. Well, this lady I would say it would have been maybe in the 80s. I think she would have gone to England in the 80s, now that I think about it, 80s, 90s. While there was PICA, or, our own immigration office, the word peddler was put in her passport. How did that come about? We've been kind of recreating a scenario here. In my childhood, you had to go with your passport application form had to be witnessed by a JP when you take it to the passport office. So it probably wouldn't be the passport office where it happens. It'd probably be in your discussion with the JP. What are your thoughts?
No, actually, I'm distracted with another thought, which has to do with the same thing. We live in a world where you can now buy your things online and have it delivered to you, or you can have things come to you and you pay for them. Do you realize how way ahead of her time she was when she took the goods to the people and
she was
they paid
peddling
for it? Yes.
But you see, and the other part too, it was fresh produce she was doing, because she used to do vegetables and farm produce, and sometimes she did fish, which she had to go buy it and then
There you go. So instead of you going to the
peddlers
market
were
or
way
the
ahead of their time.
they're taking it to you.
They take it to you. Convenience. Yeah.
Whoa.
And everything in marketing has moved on to that place.
Yes.
Make it convenient
they
for the
save
shopper.
your gas, they save you everything.
Yeah.
They come to you. Isn't that something?
But they were yet they were disparaged.
Anyway.
Yet they were disparaged.
Yes.
And the reason they were disparaged is because persons did not yet see value in the convenience they offered. They saw value in owning land and a shop.
And in addition to that, it depends on who is doing it.
Well, yes, a black person.
Depends on who is doing it.
Yes. A black woman begging you to buy something this morning and maybe saying, I need to send the kids out in the morning to school, is a different shopping experience from a Middle Eastern man pull up in his car or with his van and a whole set of rugs. I remember someone visiting us to show us their rugs.
Yes.
And I think it was someone from Colombia.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They come to your house with these rugs, and the rugs are not from Colombia. The rugs are from Turkey and Afghanistan, and so they were just what? International peddlers.
Mm-hmm.
Earl is reminding us about the word higgler.
Yes, just looking at it.
Yes, and I used to wonder what it is to higgle.
Anyway, it's about time that we recognize persons who offer this service. And it's a service of convenience that we should honor rather than look down upon, you know. We need to start to change our
I
mindset.
think it also shows the personal responsibility that we must take for the way things are. Because Miss Pearl, as even Earl is asking me, what year was it? Because maybe it was a white Jamaican who attended to her in the passport office.
Oh, no.
No, but he's making a point that it happened in Jamaica, and it is one of the faces of Jamaica that created what we are talking about now.
So then let's look at the other side of this now. How do we change this? How do we change this? And you see our leaders, you go right back to your leader because you set the tone for everything.
But you see, it sparks a response in two places. Her son, who is a teacher, her son carries with him the awareness that his mother was disparaged in her own country by the officials who are elected and put in place to handle our business. And he's teaching young children that look like him. Can you imagine what he's saying to them about civics, what he's saying to them about identity and self-respect and dignity and so on? Yes. It gives him a whole different narrative. If he chooses to be righteous in how he addresses it, he's teaching it with compassion and awareness and understanding. And he would no doubt be exhorting young children to understand the sacrifice of their parents and to honor them by doing better and by participating at a higher level in your country. If he is angry and bitter and vicious about it, he would be saying to them, listen, it's each man for himself. You better make sure you climb on top of the next man and be in position because that man ain't giving you anything. And some parts of our education system reflect that duality. You have teachers, persons, in positions of authority, giving instruction and so on. And the spirit in which they give it tells you that it's each man for himself. Mm-hmm. You have others who's using the Ubuntu. I miss Percival for that. You have others who would be using the Ubuntu philosophy and saying it's a team effort and you need to share and respect and participate and so on. And we had the pleasure of listening to Daniel's teachers speak of how he is demonstrating Ubuntu.
Mm-hmm. To
his classmates, the younger ones at his own level and so on, and demonstrating a love for scholarship in and of itself that drives the excellence of his own performance. So what I see in it, and everywhere I look, that is what I see. Take responsibility, be involved. That's what I see.
And as I just listening to you and just thinking about yesterday and the funeral and see the kind of representation that was there.
Oh my goodness, man.
I mean, I see the Montego Bay High School.
The Montego Bay, the lay magistrate.
We see this famous furniture place and representation.
Yes.
There, we see the lay magistrates, they were there. We see people from churches all over the island because she's a part of the Seventh-day Adventist faith.
Oh, Lord.
And the pastors and the representatives from all over. Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, it speaks to the kind of life that this lady lead. And it had nothing to do with age because we hear the young people speak about her. When they say that, listen, when they have games night, she was right there with them. I mean, this lady
and her cooking.
Her cooking. Yes.
From one of the things that pass from generation to generation because everybody eat food and everybody love good food.
Yes. Talk about her dumpling.
That opens a door. I think that was me who spoke about her fried dumplings.
No man, they spoke about her dumpling. Yes. But you see, and there's a lot of this happening around this country, But you see, because we are not communicating at the community level, and we're not recognizing the efforts of the ordinary Jamaican, it stays hidden. And it's time. Initiative that was launched by Duncan.
The STAR Project?
Yes, these are things that should be coming out of it. Our own initiative,
please don't
60
forget
in
ours,
60, which is not dead, folks. I mean, we just need to give it some love. We need support for it. But it's about time we start to dig deeper into the communities and dig out the positives that are being covered by all this negative. We spend too much time talking about crime and violence and all of these things
without moving towards the solution that
while there
lies
are people who are working hard and doing positive things in their community. The other day we were at a function for Marcus Garvey, and that gentleman who was voted as, what was it, Father of the Year or something.
Yes.
When you heard about the things that he has been doing for young boys in the community, and he was recognized for it at that function. Unfortunately, his recognition was not
national.
It
was not national.
And it's about time we start to do things like this.
And when you mention it, you have to remember the charity which this young lady created.
Yes.
This is one Jamaican woman come up with this idea that she just wants to focus on honoring the fathers who are standing tall in their position and being a blessing in their communities. And so she created her charity. We really need to
I
find
did invite her to come and speak with us.
We're going to follow up with it because I don't even remember her name even as we're speaking, but we can find her. Yeah. This is her initiative. She wanted, and so she created her platform, did her interviews and selection process, and she asked the Marcus Garvey Foundation to participate by allowing her to credit them with one of the awards that she presented. And the man who was chosen is a regular, ordinary, unremarkable individual, which takes me to the scripture that I want. We must have a scripture, and if God not in the mix of things, I, for one, will never be content, because that's the path he has set me on now. And the scripture is from the Sermon on the Mount, when Jesus stood and looked at the people, ordinary folks standing in front of him, and said, "You are the salt of the earth." That was just teasing my mind at the funeral, because I was thinking, who are these people that he was addressing? Who were they? Because we know, based on his lifestyle and his ministry, that he was not standing in Parliament or standing in the palace or speaking to, the 1% upper crust of his time. He was in the streets, in the wilderness. He was talking to regular, ordinary people. So if you go and just look back at who Jesus was addressing when he spoke in his Sermon on the Mount, it's in Matthew chapter 5, and he said, "You are the salt of the earth." Who are these people that he was calling salt of the earth? In Jamaica, we like to say certain people are the salt of the earth, and it is always, and we are on point when we do it, is the regular people living close to the earth. Actually, they are the poorest. They are the ones who are carrying the weight of keeping a country going. They are the housekeepers, the washerwomen, the small farmers, not the mega farmers who can choose today to have a big farm and tomorrow to make it into a housing development. The land they plant can be made into a housing development. It can barely contain one family. But these are the people, the many, who are working at the bottom of the economy, the broad base of the pyramid. And if they were to lose their savor, lose their saltiness, lose their value, the rest of us that sit on top of it would have nothing.
Exactly. You move them, then the whole thing crumbles.
It crumbles.
Yes.
Pull it out piece by piece, watch it fall to the ground. Yeah. These are the people who are aspiring and struggling to raise children, to buy a house, to maintain some kind of social order. These are the people who, when something go bad in the district, they are trying to figure out, is it because we went to the Oberman or we never got church enough? Is it because these are the ones who are creating that mix of energy at the base of our society that keeps food on our table, people to wash our clothes and clean our houses and so on and so forth.
And you see,
they are the salt of the earth.
It is important for us to understand interdependence, because sorry, this is when you appreciate your neighbor more. You realize no man is an island. You cannot do it on your own. We are all dependent on each other. No matter how rich you are, we are all dependent on each other. And it's about time we recognize that. And instead of talking about independence, let's talk about interdependence.
And it is out of that which we will get the covenant.
Yes.
The new covenant that Jamaica needs to forge amongst her citizens. That is what is going to give us that covenant. I always think if you have a lot of money and you can't cook, and maybe you're housebound for one reason or another, if somebody doesn't come to be your hands and feet, you will lay there and die.
Yep.
Doesn't matter how rich you are.
Yep.
You have a stroke and you can't, I've fallen and I can't get up.
And already did somebody have to dig the grave.
And even if, I mean, the most you could do is say, well, I spite them. They will have to move my decaying body because nobody cared enough to visit me in my hour of need. So that is the covenant that we're trying to work our way to. And every opportunity that we get to visit the issue, I say we need to visit the issue. So the queen has died. There is a king, because there's never a vacuum on the throne. Somewhere there is a bottom that belongs to that throne, and the hunt is to find it as quickly as possible before someone else takes it. So the queen is dead, long live the king, and Jamaica has been like first out of the blocks. Honestly, me don't even think Buckingham Palace was as efficient.
The Prime Minister.
He's not Jamaica.
We are divorcing ourselves. We are removing ourselves from that.
Oh my gosh, I think while Buckingham Palace was busy trying to catch its breath, Jamaica was down here, even with the time difference.
Yeah, man.
The Chief Justice was sending out his instructions. I mean, really.
So they can be efficient.
They can be efficient. They can be efficient this morning.
And they can give more than is needed because Britain doing 10, we doing 12. Oh, yes, man.
So, this morning, me sure there are a few constables saying, oh, yeah, long live the queen.
The queen.
The queen.
Sorry, king.
The queen. Long live the queen. Okay, minute. Irreverent.
All right.
Yes, Earl Brown has said, I saw you laughing, I had to look. Earl says some people saw it bad. That means them have bad luck. Oh, boy.
Oh, Lord.
Earl, I hear you about the Boscobel Airport. But hold on. The Jamaicans had protested when it was named after the James Bond author.
Did they?
Yes, man. Remember then they'll tear down the sign.
Oh, yes, you're right.
And I think I'm trying to, whatever it named now, it just named Boscobel Airport probably. Would you check for me, Eden? What's the current name of that little airport in Boscobel? I think we had tried to name it after Ian Fleming. Yeah. It's still Ian Fleming? Oh, we were resolute.
Yeah, man, it didn't change.
People had defaced the sign, torn it down, whatever, and it was a scene. In terms of how we name it. Now, Earl is saying we should call it Marcus Garvey Airport. Marcus Garvey International Airport. It would be interesting.
That certainly would sit well with our caller.
If it were in St. Anne, let's not remember that. If it were in St. Anne, the St. Anne people would fight for it and put up their own sign. But St. Mary, I don't know.
I have to comment on the cartoon in the paper today. Where here it is, a picture of a man and a woman running with sweat pouring off of them. Say, run, gunman are come. And here comes Bobby with his, look like an AK-47. Say, see, proof that armed and law-abiding citizens will reduce crime.
So now you're talking about a former minister of national security stepping into the public debate on how to address crime, and his proposal is to arm the citizens. I mean, Bobby was Minister of National Security. I wonder how he would have taken to such a proposal during his time.
The ministry kind of get him a little hot water, don't forget. Yes.
There are so many people with good things to say and no microphone in front of them. But Mr. Montague can have the ears of the people when he has that kind of contribution to make. All right, let me see what else I had earmarked. You know, I did a tour of the papers because I didn't want us to miss anything. Big issue for me, JPS versus Minister Vaz.
Yes.
And JPS is in the lead. Minister Vaz issued a press statement. It seemed to have been on the, I need to hunt it down. I saw this late last night. On the 2nd of September, he did a media release in which he is alleged to have criticized the grant of an increase to JPS. So what that means now, is that a minister of government, a sitting minister of government, is chastising the OUR, which is an independent agent of government, for granting a release to a significant company, regulated company. JPS is significant because it is the main company that handles energy supply for Jamaica, or certainly distribution of energy. And they were granted a rate increase pursuant to the terms of their license. And the minister who is responsible for energy criticized the OUR. Now, in any other country, that would mean the citizens should take up arms.
Yeah, man, that's irresponsible.
Because if the government is saying that this thing should not have happened,
yes,
yet it happened through the workings of a government agency, the independence of the OUR is only independent from the manipulation of the politics.
Is there a disclaimer by the government under that?
Under the independence or under
the statement?
No, I want to see it. I want to see the actual statement. I'm here thinking Best FM is one of the media houses. It's something that I have spoken on. The Ministry of Information, whomever is responsible for the dissemination of these media releases that come out of government from time to time. It's bad enough that our ministers don't make themselves available to the press for interviews except to the, wherever they select and like. They are not generally available. I remember trying to get Minister Tufton to speak with us during the pandemic days. They never gave us a positive response. They just kept, we'll get back to you, until even the pandemic itself gave up.
Oh, yeah.
So they're not generally available to the media houses. And press releases are coming out, but mostly you read about them in the press. I have tried to put us on the mailing list. I've put us on the mailing list for several of the NGOs that are issuing statements. So we're getting statements from NGOs and from some political parties. But Minister Vaz issued a statement which addressed matters pertaining to energy. And not everybody have it. I just read about it I dug it out of an article last night when I was just reading the news from the weekend. So I have to find it. Eden, please make a note for me. You could go online. Maybe it's on his website, in the press room on his website. I saw it late in the night, so I didn't check. Oh my, I gotta come back to that. The chat can distract you, because Straight Up has just said the airport was first named after Errol Flynn, the American actor who he says was an avowed racist.
Oh.
And called the three Jamaican actors in the last movie, The Three Blind Mice. But that wouldn't have been Errol Flynn. Errol Flynn was, that might be movie history that I don't know. But Errol Flynn was the American actor who played a character in the James Bond movie and who bought out that island which is off the coast of Portland. What's the name of that island again?
Yes.
I'm trying to remember who owns it now. But that was Errol Flynn. But the name of the airport now is Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming is the author of the book, and perhaps he was the one who called the men the Three Blind Mice. Anyway, I digress. JPS, I'm going to hunt down that press release which Minister Vaz issued, and look to see why it is that a government minister would incite Jamaicans into revolt against JPS at a time when the government is being called on to put something in the market to relieve us from the great pressure of the increases that have become necessary all around because of war, because of pandemic, supply chain horrors. I'm curious to know why the minister would do a thing like that when the government itself is giving us nothing. I say nothing in spite of the subsidy which they did for 2 months. In fact, I don't know if the subsidy continues. I have to check that as well. You remember for the persons with the 200
Right. I don't know. I've not heard anything about it.
It should have gone up to, I think, July or August.
Yeah, this is definitely something to talk some more about, because we've been asking also, well, persons have been asking for the government to take the GCT off the electricity. And GCT, believe me, if you take it off the electricity...
Or the fuel tax.
And more money goes into the hands of the public, you're going to get it back.
Yes, because we have to consume
are going to spend
live. Yeah. All right, it's
anyway,
8 a.m.
It's time for a break.
Time for a break. All right, we are so pleased to have got the support of 1 or 2 listeners. So we're starting to issue hurricane tips courtesy of Barry's Hardware. So the following Best FM hurricane tip is brought to you by Barry's Hardware of 15 Chandos Place, Papine, Kingston 6. If we don't have it, says Barry, we will source it for you.
When preparing for a hurricane, ensure that you do the following. Check on these emergency items. How much water do you have in store for each member of your household? Store as much drinking water as you can, but you must store at least 1 gallon or 4 liters of water per person in the household for at least 3 days, preferably 1 week. Young children and sick persons will actually require more water. Do not empty water stored in bathtubs or other receptacles until safe drinking water is restored. That was your Best FM Hurricane Tips for today. Your Best FM Hurricane Tips is brought to you by
Barry's Hardware, 15 Chandos Place, Papine, Kingston 6. If we don't have it, we will source it for you.
A difference you can hear. A difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
BBC News. Hello, this is Jerry Smith. King Charles III has praised Britain's Parliament as the living instrument of democracy. In his first address to members of Parliament as monarch, he accepted their condolences on the death of Queen Elizabeth II and said he would follow his mother's example of selfless duty. Johnny Diamond reports from Westminster.
The band of the Household Cavalry marked the moment when the King came to Parliament for the first time. With the Queen Consort at his side, King Charles walked through the 900-strong gathering of Lords and Commons. They sat as first the Lord Speaker and then the Speaker of the Commons delivered their addresses, appreciations of the reign and service of Queen Elizabeth and her connection to Parliament. The King's reply was brief but powerful. He spoke of the weight of history, of Parliament as the living, breathing instrument of our democracy, of his mother's vow of service kept with unsurpassed devotion.
The mayor of Ukraine's second city, Kharkiv, says electricity and water supplies in the city have again been cut off due to Russian shelling of critical infrastructure. Ukrainian forces are currently mounting a counter-offensive against Russian occupiers in the northeastern Kharkiv region. They've recaptured swathes of territory in recent days, saying in their latest update they'd retaken another 20 villages. The Kremlin has insisted that its war in Ukraine will continue until its objectives are achieved. Steve Rosenberg reports from Moscow.
Outwardly, the Kremlin is not panicking. Today, President Putin's spokesman said that Russia's special military operation in Ukraine continues and will continue until all the tasks initially set have been fulfilled. But there are definitely signs of concern in the Russian leadership. Last night, Russian state TV's flagship news program, normally very upbeat about all things Kremlin, began with the presenter admitting that Russian troops had pulled back from Kharkiv region. On the front lines, he said, this has been the toughest week so far.
The International Labour Organization says about 50 million people around the world are trapped in forced labour or forced marriage, with women, children and migrants the most vulnerable. Imogen Folks reports from Geneva.
The ILO report shows people living in either forced labour or forced marriage rose by more than 9 million between 2016 and 2021. More than half of all forced labour takes place in wealthy or middle-income countries, with migrants particularly vulnerable. The report raises concerns about conditions for migrant workers in this year's World Cup host country, Qatar, and about forced labour in parts of China.
BBC News. Officials in southern Pakistan have warned that more villages are facing the threat of inundation because of waters overflowing from the country's largest freshwater lake. They've already made breaches in the banks of Manchar Lake to divert the floodwaters. They're also scrambling to protect a vital power station in the region, supplying electricity to millions of people from a threat of flooding. The United Nations Secretary-General has urged those involved in the war in northern Ethiopia to seize the opportunity for peace after Tigrayan rebels said they were ready for talks. Antonio Guterres said all sides should stop the violence for good and opt for dialogue. Gains by a populist far-right party in Sunday's Swedish elections look likely to help a right-wing coalition to power. With about 95% of constituencies declared, the anti-immigrant Sweden Democrats appear to have over 20% of the vote. Maddie Savage reports from Stockholm.
People always thought it would be tight, but because Magdalena Andersson, the Social Democrat leader, is popular as a person, she's done very well in polls around leadership and who people might want to lead the country. I think some on the left certainly thought that that would give them the edge, and now that doesn't look certain at all. So I think there is also a sense here that it is a turbulent time here in Sweden, and the political agenda has shifted a lot. We are likely to see, if the right get through, a populist nationalist party in a more powerful position than it's ever been.
The court in the Indian city of Varanasi has ruled that a petition by Hindu worshippers asking for access to a shrine behind a historic mosque can continue to be heard. A Muslim group had opposed the petition, saying it was against a law that barred changes to existing places of worship. Security has been stepped up in the city to prevent tension. BBC News.
A difference you can hear. A difference you can feel.
Best FM. Keep listening.
Vegam Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Haggard Park Road. Vegam Printers, your best choice in printing.
Half a tree, 100, half a tree. Bossy, away I do I take taxi star?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling her, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash. Located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash. The best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3. Believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning and welcome back. We're going into the final stretch. See, the producer has given me such good company that I did not revisit my plan to open the lines early. But let me tell you the numbers to call: 619-1508, 279-8473. Those are the numbers to call. But I want to share this with you before you begin to call in. JPS and the government are at war. The minister declared war on JPS, and I don't think the country knew. I certainly haven't heard anybody talking about it. I found the press release of September 2. So where are we? The 12th? 10 days ago, a declaration of war was made, and I don't know that we were aware. So I'm making sure that everybody knows that Minister Vaz has declared war on JPS. Why do I say it's a declaration of war? The minister has summoned JPS to attend before cabinet, and it is taking place today at 12 noon. The title, the heading of the press release is Vaz dissatisfied with JPSCO's handling of long-standing customer service-related issues. So the war is about us. The minister is disgruntled, dissatisfied with how JPS has been treating matters relating to our business, people of Jamaica. So we have to give him a support that he's thinking about what impacts us. But what's he really doing? He's representing that there is about 100,000 residential customers ready to get on the network and pay money to JPS for proper service, but they have been delayed in doing so because JPS doesn't have the necessary equipment and parts in order to welcome this 100,000 customers. I did see in the paper yesterday, JPS says it's way less than that. They don't know where he got 100,000 from, because they would gladly receive 100,000 paying customers. It would bring down the cost of electricity to the rest of us. So right away we see there's a dispute on that. JPS has also made it clear that the supply chain delays coming out of pandemic has caused them to be inconvenienced in that way. He's also complaining, this is Minister Vaz now, about the persistent unscheduled power outages ranging between 18 and 36 hours, with the most recent being 2 days ago, meaning September, either the 31st of August or on September 1, depending on how he's counting his 2 days, when 10,000 customers were left without electricity. all of us know the pain and horror of that. And I, for one, had taken out the JPS license and read on air the many, many provisions in it which require them to be more forthcoming about those issues and to do better. Minister is going to bat for us. He is also addressing their policy regarding how they pay persons who suffer loss when these prolonged outages occur. So JPS is coming before Cabinet today to answer to several matters, and he lists them. They must report to Cabinet on how those matters will be addressed. They must provide a supply chain assessment report on the impact of the challenges being encountered by JPSCO. On the construction industry, he specifies, which is where it gets interesting. Minister Vaz is not going to bat for you and me. Minister Vaz have some more serious agenda at play. He is specifically concerned about the construction industry. And he wants JPS to provide plans and measures in relation to hurricane, power stability during hurricane. He doesn't need to be asking them that, because don't we have a disaster preparedness unit which its whole focus is taking Jamaica through planning for emergencies? And that's where it should be done. It should not be a political issue of a private sector company having to pay homage to the minister in Cabinet. And then he asked something that is of interest to us, but is it really me and you? Report on actions to compensate citizens who may have suffered damage or loss of income due to long and or unplanned power outages. Well, the first thing someone should have reminded the minister, there is a statute that offers some protection, not just to JPS, to the telephone companies too. Look at that caller who has been saying how long Flow has kept him inconvenienced with their infrastructure issues. What I can say to JPS is this. When you see the government launching this kind of attack, I remember the letter we got was dated December 6th and one dated December 7th. So JPS own is dated September 2. The government is on a path to make some. It tells me somebody is waiting in the wings to deal with JPS's business. And this is the start of it. That is my opinion. It is nothing that is in the press release. I am just looking at a pattern which usually comes from how government profile in the past, what they did to Carousel. They have fired the first shot against JPS. We had one man come up and say government should sell its shares in JPS. That was some time ago. Now we have JPS being summoned to attend before the Cabinet and explain itself. But what is the kind of, what does it for me, the coup de grace, the stroke of death, is this last thing that the minister said. I'm just going to read it. The minister has taken note of the recent 0.7% rate increase granted by the OUR, and while he understands that the OUR is the sole entity empowered by law to grant such increases, the minister feels strongly that the increase should not have been granted at this time, given that JPSCO has failed to address these long-standing customer service-related issues. That is an important thing for us to consider, because when the OUR makes an assessment of JPS's rate request, the OUR is required by law, and I'm sure JPS would have insisted on it, that they take into account all the operational issues that affected performance. So it is not likely by any stretch of the imagination that the OUR did a rate increase without giving proper attention to the very issues that the minister is complaining about. And please remember that the reason we have an independent regulator, regardless of what you feel about its performance, is to allow private sector entities investing in these various industries to escape the wrath of the politician. So when the minister carries JPS before Cabinet, when the minister is not the regulator, the OUR is the regulator, something very political is happening. And I want Jamaicans to take note of it and understand that everywhere else in the world that they are doing something about energy supply, government is stepping into the market to provide subsidies and policy direction to ease the cost or the burden of energy on its population. They are not going into war with the energy company. They are doing things to help citizens in order to relieve us from the cost. Austria is about to fund a price cap on energy costs so that citizens can get like just a fixed cost of 500 euros, I think, per month. Austria is putting money to subsidize the cost of energy for all the citizens, and citizens who are harder hit can get access to increased assistance if they need it. The only thing Jamaica has done so far is to address those who are consuming 200 or less kilowatt per hour, I think, on a monthly basis, and it was limited.
We haven't heard anything further about that either.
I think it would have expired in August.
Yeah.
So that's the time I've taken out of your calling time.
Anyway,
We can open the lines
and just to put in there too also that even in the telecommunications sector, there is serious problems in there with customers having issues to access and substandard service. The minister need to deal with that.
But he hasn't summoned them. He hasn't summoned them to cabinet.
Not a thing.
I know we were summoned to cabinet when they were
Not
taking
one
our
thing.
license.
Exactly.
So as far as I'm concerned, that's the pattern. Yes. When they summon you to cabinet like that, they have their eye on your business.
All right.
We have a caller online?
Caller will be coming on shortly.
Okay, so we can open the lines.
You know, these things need to be addressed. They cannot just go like that. You know.
Well, the last part of his September release, he's also requesting that JPS review the changes made to their customer service reporting and response mechanisms to facilitate real-time response to reported power outages and customer complaints. So that's gone down to the nitty-gritty now. The minister is even saying, what you have put on your voice recording system that they have, change it up back.
Well, while they're doing that, let's put some standard in place for the response of MPs and all the government representatives to the people.
To the concerns and complaints of their constituents.
We have a caller online.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
Can you turn down your radio for us, please, caller?
Good morning.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This sounds like a man who should be on the side of the mic.
I've been listening to your program, but you know, I'm just thinking that what the government is doing is very Machiavellian in their outlook.
Especially this last thing here that we just read.
Yeah, man, they need to do better, but the people are very fully awake to what they are about, you know.
I think so too, Pastor Percy.
One would hope so.
Yeah, man, but you know, I was on the weekend talking to somebody. I know what they said to me, and they were saying that we're at a turning point in terms of what is happening in our country, and there's a trigger that's going to come that they're going to say, so the people away with you, we have had enough of you, it's time to truly change, because even as what one of the callers have said about why 12 and not 10 days of
yes, morning.
Yeah, and we shouldn't even be mourning. Like the flag at half mast and says, thank you, but we should now be moving into a greater impetus to just move to republic. And as somebody has said before, to become a republic, you don't need a referendum. You just need a parliament to agree. The sentiment is out there. And remove the king now as head of state and move forward. But they have never, as a party, been open to removing, to becoming a republic. They're against CCJ, they're against everything.
That speaks to our independence.
Yeah, it is, because it is so unfortunate. But we say it all the time, that the princes of this land need to wake up and smell the coffee. They need to wake up and smell the coffee, because people are really just tired. If you go into the street and do a poll, everybody would say, leave. And I was in a business space recently, and the person said to me, he's a labor right now, but the thing said them gone overboard. I never asked him nothing. Him just said to me,
it's spilling out of people, man. The truth is spilling out.
Well, you know,
Should we tell him he has 3 minutes?
It is about time, that other people weigh in on the discussion. We have been getting calls week in, week out from the same people.
And from the start of
it
this
is
program.
about time other Jamaicans add their voices to this issue. It can't be just a few people keep saying the same thing. It suggests that they are the only ones who are concerned.
But we know that all the persons who share the sentiment may not be calling or even have access. A lot of people can't even get a good radio signal where they are because, as you just said, caller number one, as you just said, there seems to be an effort to keep us in the dark and just have the good looks out on the front page. Lots of people can't even participate in the discussion because they don't even have access. But if you were to meet them in the shop or on the road, this is how they feel. That's why, I was going to say me and a certain someone, but let's say everybody knows Pastor Percy calling. That is why you and I need to go on the road with some of these discussions. We have to. We have to get the word out there and wake people up to the reality of what is going on. Yeah.
Waking up to the reality. So that's just my 2 cents before I start sneezing all over the place.
Thank you, sir.
All right, my
well,
brother.
I bless you, and I hope you, that you get well and you'll be here tomorrow to really take the discussion to a higher level. Thank you so
them
much
kind of big, so,
I thought you said they must squeeze your foot.
No, them too big.
Because your feet are bigger. All right, thanks, Percy. Feel better.
Yes.
Good morning and welcome.
Africa love my sister, blessed love.
Blessed love, Brother Kremlin.
Yeah, I've been upset, for a couple of days now. And I'm saying that, it is so sad that when I hear about this 12-day thing, I kind of get crazy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
To know the contribution to slavery from the 16th century, come up to Jamaican people. What was in the late 16th century, it was 400 slaves in Jamaica. At the time, the population, I don't believe it was 1 million. They didn't even reach 1 million. And when you take out 400 out of maybe 800,000 people, you must realize the damage, But one thing that gets me upset now is that 2 things, the opposition and the journalists in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
They get a milestone now, both the opposition and the journalists. Where journalism is concerned, to make an announcement, to discredit what the government has said to we about 12 days, mourning for who? Why them don't tell about the wickedness, right? Where this queen and our ancestors have done us. Why them just sit down and not a word from them, from the Prime Minister announced about 12-day mourning? And that this morning you at him PJ got signed some damn document.
Condolence book.
Condolence book. As I sure you say, these 2 parties, them are hypocrite against the people's right in Jamaica. And this is why, I cannot support certain things. And it grieves me. Them things says all are we in here, fool, are idiots.
Well, Ras Kremlin, it can well be, that the media house has published that picture so that Jamaicans can take a realistic look at where we are and exactly what you are doing. Remember, sometimes we chastise the media for exposing certain things, thinking that they do it because they're in agreement. Sometimes it is the picture that is going to give you that 1,000 words understanding of where we really are. So when a man release a thing to give you knowledge, it is up to you how you use that knowledge. And I appreciate the points you're making, because you wouldn't have been able to make it without that picture showing you former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson. You see where they put it? It's right. It is in the top banner. And they don't make a statement about it, no story about it. They just say, former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson signs the condolence book for the late Queen Elizabeth II at King's House in St. Andrew on Sunday. And they tell you that the funeral is going to be whenever. The funeral for the monarch who died on Thursday will be September 19th. Now, let us see how many people gonna take your view and how many people are gonna rush up to Jamaica House so their signature can be in that book.
What you know, man?
That is what tells you the state of the nation.
Yeah, and man,
yes.
It's right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's full time. We realize and understand what we are going through. You know what I mean? And let us try to be realistic. Because even the journalists, they're mouth locked. You know why? Because they get their doctorate from the university, which belongs to the Queen. And if they should open their mouth, they can be dismissed or barred.
No, I mean, that's taking it farther than it goes realistically.
Even the lawyers in Jamaica, you have suffered certain consequences.
Yes, and yet I'm still saying, hold back the rhetoric a little bit on how far it goes. We should have a right understanding of these things. The university exists by royal charter, true. But what it means is that the university is separate, independent of political manipulation by the different governments that contribute to it. It means that once you are educated, like how you have educated yourself on certain matters, you can move according to your conscience and fight for the things you believe in without fear that somebody's going to strip you of your land or your rights. Now, university politics or politics in academia is a very real thing, but I don't think it runs based on any royalist sentiments. I really don't.
Oh, you don't think that way?
No, not on the royalist part. I think they have their own issues and struggles with identity, because there's a lot more the university should be doing. But
what you're saying to me,
yes,
that when we say we want dismiss, we say from this monarch.
Yes,
it is a camouflage.
Yes. Because look at what's going on. I think Parliament, not because Parliament love the Queen, I think Parliament loves the lack of accountability that they enjoy under this arrangement. And every political party that aspires to leadership and gets into power fall in love with it same way and don't want to change it. So even now, when persons of education and knowledge on both sides of the divide are saying we can do it this way, you're not getting that consensus in Parliament.
I would have said some more things. I'm going to hold my peace. Because this stuff,
yes,
it's right now.
Yes,
this is unacceptable.
I agree with you.
Where Rastafari is concerned,
it's unacceptable for me
where the
too.
people of Jamaica is concerned.
Unacceptable for all of us.
Them agree. A Rasta. I denounce this. I a Rasta.
Well, we denounce it to you, my brother, so I'm not so sure where you would place us. But we get the point, eh?
Yes.
We're going to take another call. Thank you, my brother.
All right,
appreciate it. All right, cool.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, Ross Paul here.
Yeah, Ross.
Yeah, well, the caller before, the previous caller before, everybody have I deal with it, and we have to unite.
Ross Paul.
I look on a Rasta, but may I say, it's time for Rasta come together and know everybody have fight.
No separation. Can you wait while we take a station break?
We're way past the time.
Yeah, we're 3 minutes past the 8:30 mark. Just wait for me, please. Thank you.
Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Vijay Printers, your best choice in printing.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-Time Taxi Service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, away I do I take taxi start?
Chano, I want to tell you, say, 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man. Respect my boss.
Yeah, try calling, cause trust me.
Winters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3, believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back. Rest Paul, waiting for us?
Yeah, man.
Oh, okay, go ahead now, please.
First let me say, right, because I have 3 points to make.
Yes.
First, let me say, you see, GPS, not government can't come trick with GPS, because watch me now. The government won 20% in GPS, you know. So government know everything will go on, and them just come with that, where, you understand?
Well, let's see what happens in cabinet today.
To me, like, who are reached, like Petro Jam with the Petro Carry deal.
Yes.
Like a data go on a GPS, you know, where your years the government sell for them 20%.
Right.
And then this, that, rare, anyway. All right. So the Queen, you know, the Queen, I can't believe the Queen died at 96 and don't apologize for black people about slavery. Not even apologize. So you see, these people, them people, they don't care in what them do. And I can't believe, say, I have a prime minister where the people, them declare 10 days in England and it declares
Jamaica 112. I'm sure it's a miscalculation, and very shortly they will.
No, but him keep on a miscalculate. Him so miscalculate the whole of Jamaica. As a matter of fact, crime a miscalculate, education a miscalculate, everything a miscalculate, health a miscalculate, everything if you notice. Yo, Jamaica runs so. Anyhow, the opposition now. You see, I tell people, you know, say everybody must have a placard, and one man and them people have to get up and just say,
just walk with it.
We need a constitution for the people. So we need constitution reform, where a constitution where the people are going to write for the people, where these people say we're serious about constitutional change, where we can get for this country go ahead. One law for rich, one law for poor. And all of this injustice and all them things we are going, so you need to stop. Now, the opposition, I don't see the opposition attack, and they must say, well then, like them have a plan. Even I say, well then, we see when we come in a power, all of them money that we misspend, we are going to try to get them back, and we are going to try So people go to prison already. You hear the opposition say that the opposition like them want to come rule after the same constitution, the same system, and that's why them keep on there at 16%.
Yes, yeah.
You understand?
I do understand.
And you say that the people know say people who got prison, top people who got prison, people who are accountable for what them go on with them. Same thing with the high gun up to 50, long time, But them know what them want to come in, as what you say. Certain things fit them.
Yeah, so, man. When you taste the power, you like it too.
Yeah, you see, you understand? Yeah. We can't, Jamaica can't continue to go and say,
It will not.
I just saw some people don't know, Jamaica, they're on a crashing level,
Yes, sir.
As a pastor said, I'm going to the place and hear some people like that. See, Jamaica right now, Jamaica they're on a, you know when you're going on a plane and before you see the pilot come out, and you have to wait for the pilot come down and then supposed to run there fly the plane. Jamaica just depend on a thing where it I don't know.
Of course, you know that a country can't run on autopilot like that.
That's show you about them political now. I vote for people signing up, but you see who them show a sign. You see who the Gleaner show a sign. So once GLP agree with it, PMP agree with it because PGA assigned. You understand?
So you think there's a message in that part of it too?
Yeah, they don't media, man. Oh, I'm not tell you how them slow things go, man. Hey, the amount of money where this government has spent on certain media and on some media enough to spin them things and if them spend them money upon the people where they are King Street with homeless. Nobody would be homeless.
That I agree with. Yes.
Nobody would be homeless. And we don't know, but every day, this thing boil and boil up, Let's spoke to one of the UIC man, tell them say them need to step on the road.
Yeah.
If you want, you can't just chew up on the road one time and a man grab you on it. You make them keep on and grab you and so you get famous. And so you get it.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's how make you a prop. Yeah.
And the country is waiting to see that natural energy.
That energy.
Yeah, right. So that they can come around it. All right, my brother, thank you so much. We do have another caller on the line. I hope you got your 3 points out.
Yeah, man, keep the fire burning, because we are burning the fire now.
No choice.
I would for people are burning the fire and you have to join up, all the while that Rasta do.
All right, thank you, brother.
No choice. We have no choice. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, my lady.
How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm well. Morning to the co-host.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. I just want to touch on a few points this morning. The 12 days that the Prime Minister has declared. Now, to me, this is one of the most disappointing things in my life. I am in my 60s. One of the most disappointing act that I've seen a Prime Minister of this country do. Can you imagine us as a nation after 60 years of independence and we are declaring 12 days for our head of state, not a Jamaican, a foreigner, someone who belongs to an institution that has slave our ancestors. Paul and all those men and Nanny and not Nanny and Paul and Taki and all those freedom and
but come, and all those even if you come right down to Marcus Garvey,
must be turning in their graves, man. For this man to come out and talk about 12 days for money for someone that belongs to an institution that has slave our ancestors.
But to also talk about mourning when nobody's mourning. I don't even think the Governor General is mourning. How do you mourn someone who has given you nothing? Well, maybe they got something.
What is this Prime Minister all about? the youngest prime minister that we have had since independence. What is he about? But I tell you, he came with a big fanfare about how many trees he's going to plant, And they plant some trees. They plant some trees from the roundabout in Greater Portmore to the Elsa Main Road. And I make certain I walk the distance, And I count less than a couple of I don't think that there are 2,000 trees there that out of the dozen.
What, they died or people took them out?
How many trees are just dead, man? They never water.
Nobody. Oh, Jesus.
They just plant them and leave them.
Oh, Jesus.
So what we have done in this country, we have scraped the bottom of the barrel and elected some guys who have no idea. They have no capability of running a country.
Well,
they are very incompetent.
They're brilliant at corruption.
And all they are good at is corruption. As if as him now come with this PR thing now. This PR thing now to fool up the people. Where as Raspal said a while ago, they own 20% of the
yes, of JPS. Yeah. So, I don't like what he's doing. And anybody know, I started this program, I pull out JPS license was one of the things. I came to the show with the JPS license as one of my issues to address, because I think the arrangements are not working to the best advantage of the people. But as I've begun to delve into it, my brother, I discover that some of the policies that JPS is being held to are imposed by government. Their choice of technology, for instance. There might be cheaper ways for them to deliver and do what they're doing, but it is government who is setting that policy. And now the same government is turning the guns on them when the government will not do anything for us to relieve us from the burdensome cost of energy.
It tries to feel, remember, so JPS can go ahead and deal with that and let the government agree with it.
Precisely. So those things are coming out now. But I tell you, if you pursue knowledge, it will be your salvation. The more things you know, the better you're able to craft the right response and the right strategy. So I don't think Mr. Vaz going to fool anybody with this attack on JPS.
The fool is that, you see, him can't fool, and I tell you, I listened to Raspal talk about constitution change.
Yes.
And my point is this, if we as the Jamaican people don't get ourselves educated, we can write the best constitution in the world. It's not going to work, because some of the things that is happening in this country, and the people just sit down
and it pass over our head.
Government to use PR. Just
bamboozle us.
That's all they're using,
Yes.
Can you imagine a man like Christopherson? Right? That has spent billions of dollars in the Cornwall Regional Hospital, and Jamaicans voted that man as the best performing minister. You know how much money that man wasted in the Ministry of Health.
Did you hear the caller on Thursday who spoke about the 400 sick people in Maypen Clinic and how they call out the police on them and how the doctors eventually said, listen, we should have 6 doctors here, we only have 2, and the disrepair and the shambles that's taking place, the shambolic affairs at Maypen, and in the same week that man is being announced as the best performing minister.
So Jamaicans are jokers.
Oh God, but listen to me now. Remember, I said to you, and you are agreeing with me, that if they don't have the knowledge, they will not, these things will pass by them. That's why we have to pursue the knowledge and share the knowledge.
But my lady,
yes.
I have acquired knowledge in it. People not going to give you knowledge if you don't.
No, you pursue it, and those who have it, share it. That is, you see this thing, good news, gospel, good news, share it. When you have good news or news that can be somebody's salvation, you share it. Some of these things, we need to be sharing it with our people. Do you know that out there in the country, some of the same places where the people are voting like sheep, they don't even have good radio reception to hear what me and you are talking about this morning?
Well,
Some places there are things we take for granted, my brother, because we enjoy them. We don't know that somewhere there are Jamaicans who, if they knew the truth of things, would take up arms. They don't have the information, and we have to get it to them.
A lot of people that know. But listen, one of the great irony at this station in Jamaica, you know, because of the economic crisis, you know, it got almost turned back to Antigua, you know.
You did remind me that camels are on the horizon.
Yeah, man. It is so sad, you know, because this what the people are out there trying to hustle to find food for the children and things. So it comes like they're not even aware of anything else. Because I can assure you, know, a very few people can tell you what I talk about the trees them this morning. Thousands of people live in Portmore, and if you ask the majority of people in Portmore, them don't hear something like that.
Yes.
I don't know.
But because you've
to understand that they have to take an interest in what is happening in the country. You know, we have to get up and take an interest in what is happening in the country. We have to
we have to share. So we're gonna part on this note because I think we have another caller. I love where you're going because you're seeing. First thing is one man can't do it, and a handful of persons can't do it when the others that they need are on the sidelines, either not understanding, not knowing, or just not participating. So there is a necessity for us. Each one bring one. We gotta share the information, build up the awareness, help people connect the dots, because sometimes we're so deep in our own trauma that we don't see that the same thing that would release that man will also release me. So let's be a part of that effort. I mean, we were at a funeral yesterday in James Hill, and it was pouring buckets to leave, and there was one person there with a baby and so on, and we never see one sign of public transportation that could have assisted that young man. We ended up taking him to Portmore.
As you talk about public transportation, apparently something is happening in the Stony Hill area. The buses, they are not working.
Spreading from St. Thomas because of the atrocious road conditions. Not sure what is happening. I bet you.
But in Stony Hill, the
Remember
buses,
that
they
is...
have parked the buses, they have sitting down, buses not working.
Remember that is Miss Cuthbert Flynn's constituency with the terrible roads, where she tell them she's not NAA.
Yes.
So let it fall apart. Because it's only when you... Yeah. All right. Thank you, my brother.
Okay, my sister. Thank you.
Good morning. Well, isn't that interesting?
Very interesting.
I cannot complain if I am inconvenienced when people are taking a stand in defense of their own situation.
I'm curious to find the reason behind it. I hope someone will call and tell us what's happening. But, you know, I hope this is the beginning of our people just standing up for what is right, you know?
Well, Pastor is still at home. Let's see if he can make some inquiries.
Well, he just called. No, he just called to tell me about it. So
okay.
Yeah, so, you know.
I wonder if he won't put on his slippers and walk down there and interview a man. Pastor, I know you're listening.
In between sneezes.
Put on your mask and find out for us. What is the girls? That would be really wonderful if we could speak to even one bus driver or someone who's participating in it.
Maybe
you know,
Corey can tell us.
Yeah, and when I saw what was happening in St. Thomas, that was my prayer. Lord, bring them support. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Good morning, Mr. Lawrence. Mr. Lawrence, I love you. The city you are in this morning. I'm missing Pastor. Pastor, get well soon.
Thank you.
Go on, Miss Mary.
What a morning. You people have said so many things I don't even know where to start. But I'm just greeting. Miss Pearl is her name. She's just sleeping, you know. Those people don't die. They just move on.
Yes. Oh, it's so beautiful that you remembered her name. Miss Pearl. Miss
She
Pearl.
went to England and everything.
Yes, and then put peddler in our passport.
Yes, out of order. And she started, you see what, she was an entrepreneur from a long time, you know.
Absolutely, from long time. from
And I ended up doing something like that, going to clients, when I was stopped from buying a shop, you know what I mean? But
yes.
we don't have time for that. People don't know certain things. I am not mourning. There's nothing to mourn about. I've been to England 17 times. And what I've learned over the past 10 years after going there in 1969, I would not have gone there because I heard what Mr. Lawrence said, all the things, the Windrush people born in England and they send you back home. I can't go into that.
Yes. And while you're on, Mary, let me just confirm that the people in Stony Hill are striking because of the road. One of our listeners who lives in the area said, yes, he's from that area. The reason for the bus and taxi strike is because of the road.
Interestingly, I just get a call that right in the vicinity of Manor Park, quite a few buses are lined up there and police is present. I don't know if the police has anything to do with those particular buses, but, that might be a contributor to what's happening, so.
Well, we'll get more. But go on, Mary, because it's not often you call us.
As for Tufton, he should not have been minister in the first place. He's not a doctor. You need a doctor to be minister of health, just like Chang, right? He should not be a minister of whatever he is, right?
Yes.
He has not done anything. Tufton has not done anything to become a man of the year or
whatever it is.
I can tell you about. And by the way, that thing is he should not say anything of what he's saying because I can tell you about Linstead Hospital and Spanish Town Hospital.
And somebody called us about Maypen.
The full hospital years ago with Dr. Beans. People used to come from abroad for operations. Like fibroids, they used to call it growth in those days.
Yes.
And you had Dr. Linden, Dr. Leslie was our neighbor, right? And he used to be at the hospital. He was mayor of St. Catherine, and they downscale Linstead Hospital to nothing. Spanish Town Hospital, Dr. John Williams was there. I went there, another minor operation. My mother went there too. And Dr. John Williams was Faith Saunders. She was at St. Andrew High School, and she was in the educational ministry for a while.
It's very sad, Mary, that you can, as just one person, see the decline that has occurred during your lifetime instead of improvements when population is growing and other things are improving around the area. The health service in the area is declining. Many people are saying it. And Mr. Tufton, Dr. Tufton, should not sit pretty feeling that the popularity in the polls is an award of anything.
He's a very arrogant man when he can't have his own way.
Well, I would not know because he did not consent to come on the program so we could talk to him.
Well, the shadow minister is a doctor, so maybe he should come in and speak. And
Dr. Guy? Yes, a medical doctor.
So he need to let his voice be heard on some of these matters and let people see how things should be rather than take it from a man who is not a doctor or has no experience in the medical field.
And back to Miss Pearl, right? When they call her peddler, right?
Yes.
I can tell this as a fact. When I was 3 years of age, hurry, that man Sinclair.
Yes.
He was a peddler.
He was a peddler walk up and down with his goods.
He used to go, I was a 3-year-old child, and he used to be in bog walk with a grip. I remember that man with a grip and a yardstick.
But Mary, there are some great people in business who started in the same way. I think Mr. Butch Stewart started in the same way. I've heard him talk about moving from having the things and into the car back and so on and so forth.
Yes.
A lot of traders begin that way.
Yes. And Ray D too, the great Ray D, he used to be on the road with watches at the time. I work with Sirwell for a number of years, right? And when I come on the radio and talk about my situation, you know why? I have heard people saying, but that thing went years ago. Why is she talking? You know why I'm talking? Because I got no defense, no identification. You understand what I mean?
Yes, and listen to me.
And I will talk until my eyes close. If I had gotten any defense, I wouldn't have to talk. Nobody knew I work with the bank. Nobody knew that I work with United Dominance Corporation. Nobody knew that I was a fashion designer, a sales specialist selling from I was 6 years of age between Spanish Town and Kingston. Nobody knew that. Nobody knew that I work with Serwell Simpek. I was just a housewife that a man gave me a break.
Yes.
Nobody gave me a break in life.
Yes.
God gave me a break.
And when
I'm sorry Miss Pearl didn't own. I'm sorry Miss Pearl didn't own land.
A spot of land, yes.
And I bought my first property at 18 and paid off it by age 23. I had a title in my hand, and that same man used my title to buy his first house in Chergod. You don't hear those things, but I will talk until my eyes close.
And
you know what I've done to you,
Mary,
and talk about the Queen.
You have a place to speak here, because unless persons develop.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, Petru. No, because persons, we are quick to diminish each other and destroy people's reputation so that it makes it okay for you to take from them economically. It's always about the economics of things. Somebody is profiting somewhere from the disparagement of
the gleaner made money. Tell lies, and when you meet the people, it's a different story. Don't follow the media, our media, the 5 o'clock news, the 7 p.m. news.
Well, you know what I mean? Yes, at the end of the day, there are persons who get access to a platform, and if they can say something that attracts attention and is popular, you will find that gets said quicker than the truth, which may take a little while to sink in, but will transform you for the rest of your life. We're still fighting that struggle. So I thank you for sharing from the heart.
When I call them bandits and jagabats, people shouldn't feel anyway, right? They have used the Jamaican people. I've been around for 77 years and 9 months yesterday, right? And I don't see any improvement. Every sector of our society is in shambles. And let me just put that out there. They have suspended a lot of people's NIS. They just have people going up and down. You have to be taking taxis to go here and there to check out things.
And those are costs that we can help citizens.
Thank you so much. We're on the break. We need to take a break.
Mary, we are on the 9 o'clock break, my love. We have to go and take a station break. Bear with us, please. All right, do it quickly, please.
Revisit the reverse mortgage. Talk to Earl Jarrett, not do a stop. Talk to Earl Jarrett.
All right.
Yes.
All right, Mary. We'll take a note of that. We've taken a note of it. Thank you as well. Have a good day.
A difference you can hear. A difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
People, are you listening? If you choose to remain at home after an evacuation order has been issued, you do so at your own risk. Get down! Get down! Heed the warning!
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
You can call us at 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Looking to clean your vehicle super clean? 123 Clean Car Wash, located at 2 1/4 Osborne Road, Kingston 10. Entrance on Grove Road, below Tropical Battery. They wash and vacuum, undercarriage wash, engine wash, polish and compound, shampoo and detailing. Call them at 876-631-3400. 123 Clean Car Wash, the best in the business for a cleaner wash.
1, 2, 3, believe me, it's so easy. 1, 2, 3.
a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, away I do I take taxi style?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, at 2 months now, my transmission mash up, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040. Or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me send you.
You big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling her, cause trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
What a relief.
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Good morning. Well, listen, Jamaicans, all our listeners at home, abroad, things are reaching boiling point in the country right now. I just saw a video, Kingston High School in Denham Town.
Hello?
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Minette. How are you doing? God bless you.
I am well. How are you?
Big up your boss. I can't even tell you my name because I want to say certain things. I don't
Go on.
Before you go any further, I beg in the boss to, like on Sundays, who want more gospel right up like I'm doing it on Sunday, man. Prayer and preaching. Yeah?
Gospel on Sundays.
Yes, on Sundays.
Yes.
Sunday, right through Sunday, man. And you and Jerry and Mr. I don't remember his name, that tall, I think he's a Rastaman there, program. Need some more repeat of it. Okay?
Okay.
And the next thing you're talking about the bus situation and the government here, the people, them shame, they get what they want. Yeah?
Yeah.
The PNP, when them say shame, you're them attack, do two of them are the same thing. Foolishness. I know that they're in a power. Because when you go out to tree and forget a bus to come Lawrence Taban and Barbuda, you see? You so far, at 8 o'clock, the bus, them stop run. Them can use the bus and make money and use the picture of the road that the government used to do. So Jamaican people should have shamed them, strict the youth, them. Jamaican people is too wicked amongst one another. They trick the youth them to vote in themselves, you see? And when that powers, when you want to come Lawrence Taban, you have to pay $300 from 7 o'clock to come and do the taxi. And you can't get the bus, and the bus can start charge you $1,500 and $150 or $200.
Yeah, they charge a penalty at those hours. But let me ask you, what do you think account for the early withdrawal? Is it the road condition? What is it?
Not only the road condition, they're just wicked from day one. Them themselves is also damn wicked, and the government don't care. Them not even help for the bus situation. I'm going to call you back at the next time when I have credit.
All right, brother. Yes.
And then you know who I am. I don't want to tell my name because I have something to tell you.
All right. No worries.
There's some wickedness and carelessness going on in this country. Shame them, get to them want.
All right. Well, that was a whirlwind tour of some of the issues, and something is boiling at the gates of Kingston High School in Denham Town, and Denham Town is a place to watch.
Yes.
It sits on like a powder keg.
Yes.
It looks like over 100 kids locked out of the school. Parent is there on her phone showing the thing. It's not a uniform issue. Girls and boys are out there, long uniform, full foot pants, no tight clothes issue going on there. Nobody at the gate speaking to the parents. Parent went to drop off her child. Right now, confusion and chaos at the gate. The police come and say nothing for them to do. Yeah. How can there be any situation where citizens are in distress and the police is saying nothing for you to do? So who is the serve and protect crew that we have? What are parents supposed to do? Tear down the gate?
Yes, and meanwhile, the bus situation seems to be a combination of factors, which includes the Transport Authority being there, stopping buses.
For the Stony Hill route, yes.
For the Stony Hill route. So, you see, it is a combination of factors.
Yeah, because now someone in the Transport Authority may have thought it is a cute and an ideal time to go and catch the bus drivers who have tickets and different things outstanding while they are protesting and withdrawing service and being on the roadway. You wouldn't know that a bus has withdrawn its service unless you see it parked up and with a sign that say not working. Essentially, it is a necessary part of their protest that they are visible on the roadway but not working. So while they're out in that public space, I gather the transport authority is running an operation. So now that tells you, that your freedom to protest or to speak your mind is only if you're in good standing. And it is not so, because even people who are in prison have rights. You can be condemned and be kept at the mercy of the government, and you still have rights. The man can't just hold you and do anything with you. So it's a serious look at how the Jamaican mind works towards each other. The caller just now said that people are just wicked towards each other. Do we have a bus driver on the line?
Yeah, we're getting.
Okay, we're getting him. But I just want us to not miss the connection between the heart of a Jamaican to his fellow Jamaican and the things that we're seeing unfolding. Because me, if I were a transport authority worker, and I hear that the people are out there protesting the bad road condition and certain treatment, it would never dawn on me that this is a good time to go hold him up and serve some ticket on him or take away his license. Or come on. Because those protests are valid, and if they succeed in making a point, it works for all of us. I'm telling you, I saw people severely inconvenienced yesterday in the rain. Not a sign of transportation inside. We have someone on the line now?
Holding, yeah.
Okay. Good morning and welcome.
No, it's okay.
The line is open, but I'm not hearing anyone. Oh, okay.
The call is good.
Good morning.
Hello. Hello, Miss Minute. Good morning. How are you?
I am well. Long time. How are you doing?
Long time me not give no call. What happened to Mr. Orit? That's why they did. From when me not hear him? I am well. Long time. How you doing?
Oh, I'm hearing your radio in the background. Would you take it down for me, please?
All right, let me turn it off. Yes, Mr. Orit. A long time me not hear him. He's not on the line anymore.
He's not on air with us anymore, and I don't know if he's back on air somewhere else.
Okay. Because no wondering what really happened for me. I always listen to him on Friday day.
Yes, doing the Jamaica Roundup or Jamaica Speaks, I think. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And my second point is, look how much children we have lost in this country. Even down at Sablama, Westmoreland, which they are now Ghana, where them people they burn up.
Yes.
And until this blessed day of Allah, they never hear this Prime Minister yet. Not even say, let the churches them have silence or have some prayer or something. Mourning for the children them that will last so much
Can you hold just for a minute for us, please, my dear?
When I want to Queen, sir. Queen, with me. How can a queen make up on the cross? If I queen go on the cross, what dies is him sin. And a sheep up on the cross, what dies in me. Jesus go on the cross and die for the whole world because he love, because of love. So everybody, we're going on mourning 12 days for queen beside me.
Well, listen.
So queen and a queen with a prayer too. I feel the Almighty God, where him are the keeper of human life. I told him, let me wake up this morning because I can't wake myself. And him give me life, and him, we have to depend upon the protection and guidance. So him, if you go in a morning, sir, nothing somebody like myself. I mean, I'm about to nobody like myself.
And he does not require mourning. He requires celebration. But we have to take a break because we have Pastor Percy on the line.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to, yes. All right. Thank you very much. Okay.
Yes, Pastor. Go along. Hello.
Good morning, Pastor. Are you in the background there?
Morning.
Good.
I'm in Stony Hill with two bus drivers. Doctors and a driver are raising some concerns. Go ahead, sir.
Morning, my brother. Welcome to the Morning Connection program.
Yeah.
So we want to give you an opportunity to say.
Reason I'm striking today.
Yes.
The road was fit. One.
Yes.
We used to pay a 500 for the ticket when the police stopped you.
Yes.
Now we got 2-5. No bus officer at 50 coming from store.
split off people. If you stop, and there's people them record the bus. Next thing, some people want to pay $100 from toll for a Templar. And if they do, say, give you 150, they not do that. 120, they not give you 150.
And them have to turn to $2 on the cash, man. Come out of coronation market, become out of parade or stuff.
And, all right, the other thing next thing,
yes.
is right here, right now. See, now, I try to address what is going on. See, I address a rubbish pan in Stony Hill. A rubbish dump be dead right against the water pump.
Yes.
See, that you address. She now address to find out what the reason, what is going on. Because she don't care. She said she don't have to do nothing to PR vote. I pay to PR vote. So she has to
Wow. So what is happening how's the relationship with the transport authority now? Because I hear there's something going on down at the Manor Park where you would pass through if you go that way. Is there something? Have you had word of what's happening there?
No, we don't reach down to that. We're not going to see it.
All right. So you are a taxi driver or a bus driver?
Bus conductor.
But okay. And your bus has a license from the transport authority?
Yes, ma'am.
And so you are not stuck with, but you have to charge the fees that the government set as fare.
Yeah, 120.
And you're finding that even if persons are prepared to pay a little extra, they are not prepared to pay enough to really make it profitable for you.
I'm not still wrong there, right? They pay $30.
Yes.
They want to kill you. But when they come and them give you for the money, they push it for you. $200 I may have. I'll try and still give. And them that.
So you mean they're not even prepared to give you the full fare sometimes?
No, at no point.
So who defend you now when you have those issues? Who defend you? Who defend you when you have those issues?
No one represents it.
Yeah. So you're helping yourself.
And the next thing, you have a police staff. They are working with the extortion on them. Boss man coming up and get packed up. Last man tried that off of me. I may have to get vibe on it. And man, me and he got cool together from jungle. And them give you a ticket, man, say, right left down, right one ticket. 7 tickets or 5 tickets, I leave him right.
So let me ask you ever take pictures of some of these people and put yourself in a position to expose it? No, man, I know.
Put it up, put table.
You see that man who got you to speak to me on the radio?
Yeah.
Find a way to stay in touch with him because he's also a JP. And when you have issues that you need to carry further up the line, we can be a part of that for you.
Okay. And the next point?
Yes.
When he write the ticket, he's not giving it for a move. They go on and come back and the same extortion man them. When they work with them give the ticket to you when you come back. Okay.
No, that cannot be. May I tell you, my brother, you have a phone or you have put somebody on the bus to take picture for you? Find a way, let's begin to help ourselves, because the only way I heard about what's going on is because somebody called in and say, this is what is going on in Stony Hill. Believe me, there are more people who will support you and help you than there are against you. You just have to put yourself in a position where you can be seen and heard.
Okay. Have a good morning.
You too, my brother. All right.
He roll like 3 more dirty, so you can figure from this.
All right. Pastor? Oh, Percy gone? Okay, boy, we gotta give some serious thanks to Percy for putting on him slippers and going down the road.
Yes.
In spite that, he's not in the best of health. Really thank him for that. Every opportunity, we cannot lose an opportunity to do something to move the ball closer to the goal.
Yeah, definitely.
Footballer.
I mean, you see, you only really increase the problem when you deal with things in a particular way. Do what is right.
So you see the struggle that the men are having as drivers now. Police man are supposed to write ticket and give it to the
all of us have the experience with some of these people on the road, how they drive and all the things.
There's a caller on the line. Good morning. Welcome. Anyway. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection. We talk it away, Pastor. I'm going to call you pastor.
But at the same time, we have to do what's right, eh? All
Good
of
morning.
us.
Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes,
I'm
morning.
going to say something this morning on the program. Maybe I may assume that you may not agree with me, but under the law of Jamaica, I have freedom of expression, right? So
Well, it depends on what you're saying, because the Broadcasting Commission might not agree with you either and take away the people license.
No, I'm not going to say nothing wrong.
Oh, all right then.
all
Then
right.
we're good.
Yeah, with the death of Queen Elizabeth,
Yes.
I am rejoicing.
That is your right.
And guess what now?
Yes.
You see, I wish that all of that wicked family would have just dropped and died, including the one we take over now.
Yes, that is your right, but that wish might endanger your soul.
Based on what they did to us, the Africans, and they don't give back nothing. And also, I wish all of the 63 MPs were down here and serve the same wicked racist family where hate black people. So you know they hate black people, Queen Elizabeth hate black people, and so the man will take over now. He said, but Megan have the little baby, man, worry about the color of the baby or how the baby are going to look. So, if those people, if the 63 MP were down here and serve the Queen, I wish the same thing for all of them. Because they are the workers for these people.
Anyway, my brother, you should be praying for them than wishing bad for them. Eh? You said you're a Christian and you should behave that way. No. You pray for them. You don't wish ill. No. All right, we hear you. But it's your right to think there. But we don't condone that kind of behavior. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, I know. The next thing, Montague make a speech about. Yeah, I agree with him. Yeah, give more people guns because 14,000 police or 12,000 police can protect 3 million people. So he's on the right track with that.
Okay, so we should force them to get it, or let them
stand the consequences of that.
We should force them to get it, or we should allow those who want it to apply. Because I don't want nobody force me to take a gun if I don't want it.
No, not force us. It would be like policing where you look for like 5, 6 young men or people who have good record, 6 to 10 men in every community.
And do what? And offer it to them? All right. So here's where we have a slight difference of opinion. I think that in matters of public administration, persons who are eligible for and apply for something, which the government set up rules of how they should get it, and if those rules didn't exist, you would just do what you want to do. I think all such persons should get what they are entitled to receive and have asked for. But I do not think that any citizen in a country where we are participating through taxes in the provision of security for the citizens, I don't think any citizen should impose on me an obligation to defend myself by taking a gun because I am able-bodied and I'm responsible.
Before I go, I want to say this.
Which is where you and Montague are taking things.
Yeah, in regards, before I go, I want to say this about the gun license in Jamaica. When I read, you know that back in the day, only who could vote in Jamaica are persons who have land. All right, only persons who in the day were given gun license back in the 50s and 60s were the minor group, the rich, the red-skinned people, because they need protection from the slave population.
It was so for just about everything of value.
And the truth is nobody else could even afford to buy the gun that they want to get licensed.
It all started with land. That is why land ownership is so critical for us.
My brother, I would much prefer if you start to speak about some solutions. I mean, come on. We can't continue to live in the past. How are we going to solve the problems? Here we are, the bus people are having their issues. I mean, so many people having other issues that we need to deal with. Let's not get preoccupied with whether or not the Queen's family should die and that kind of thing. How are we going to solve the problems that we are having now?
That's my expression. I have freedom to express that.
All right, my brother. Thank you. Thank you for the call.
They hurt my family.
Thank you for the call.
Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Yes, Miss Minute.
You called back. Thank you.
I'm Mr. Patterson. We're not hearing anything. Well, as far as I see Miss Minute, he look like sorry about that. If you make Chan call tomorrow morning, this same wicked man, idiot people, them are putting in back. So it look like they're not interested in Mr. Patterson.
Well, Mr. Patterson is building. Every now and then I see some of the things that he's putting out online. A lot of the work he's doing is online. He does need a lot more support and prominence in the media to get the message across. And sometimes, we have to go find him. If we hear something good go on somewhere, we have to walk and go find it. If he's willing and qualified to serve, then I am sure between the support people give him and the work he does for himself, he will get there. But building a political party not easy, especially when it's not easy. Not easy. Aye, okay.
Die-hearted PNP,
right, JLP,
and let go off of it.
Yeah.
Now let one put in a third party. Can we come up to have sense and think now there is no third party coming win. Because they're just die-hearted PNP and die-hearted JLP.
Yeah, so it will take a while to break that grip on the country, but it can be done. It has to start somewhere. Everything starts with a first step. Well, that is true, and he is a great partner in salvation. Yes, so we just need to work with him.
Yes, ma'am. All right, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning again, Mr.
Welcome, Respal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the gentleman a while ago, need for,
Yes.
Need for, got youth, but
he's coming. He's coming along, and some things are working in his favor, like the Queen dead. It's a great moment for persons who want reform.
The point we're making about Mr. Mantis.
Yes.
First, I wouldn't even listen to Mr. Mantis. Because Mr. Mantis will get very tainted. Mr. Mantis.
Voice of yesterday.
Get money by police car and get police car.
Yeah. I don't think I'd be taking leadership ideas from him either.
And this is a man where a crime wants police car and fighting.
Yes. But he wants to switch the responsibility for peacekeeping to the citizens.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You see, no, I've been watching the Prime Minister from Boris Johnson time with the Johnson Smith thing there.
Yes.
That is the reason why you see the Prime Minister that tried to get Johnson Smith. It's a renewal, they're not renewal. The king thing,
Mm-hmm.
Because
let me tell you, Respal, it's sitting on my stomach like a big stone. I say, how could you have an opening to advance your own agenda and you just jump right back into it's like your husband dead who used to beat you and somebody come up and say, may we take over, and you just put the name on your paperwork just so?
These people don't want to change nothing. They're giving a 2 months with dear, and I just have the people them I take them like idiot. This is what I want to know. I like the people now see. You know what I mean? These people don't want to change nothing.
Yes.
Them no want to be no republic because they want the same thing to go on like the Crown land. They don't want the people to know that the Crown land is we Jamaican land. Land in Jamaica, we Jamaica.
Yep. Well, I tell you, Respal, you have caused me to be thinking now, what if the Queen died and her son abdicated and her grandson said, we're not interested in this thing anymore. What if England decides that them not bother with no monarchy? Is Jamaica going to force them?
Lead up to that.
Jamaica just going to hang around and say, well, we'll wait for some people come own us. What on earth is going on?
After a while, people are England educated.
Of course. It's not, listen.
The Prime Minister. That Prime Minister analyzed, he mean not corrupt, It's just a protocol in thing there,
in breach him own. But you see, we reached the stage in Jamaica now that we don't even see that as corruption anymore. But it is a betrayal of the trust of the people. You say one thing and you do another. Come on, you can't lead me.
Yeah, well then that's what I tell you. The people them so tainted that the youth them now listen to them again.
Yeah. In
all of them things that add up to crime, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, man, I said crime out here, manage crime, and the youth them sister the whole of them man where after them a leader, man. Them tainted.
That is the breakdown of the rule of law.
I come tell the people now, say every one of them say have fun. And
yes, it must have free it up now, so everybody can be a gunman.
5 years. No, remember, I know. I must say about 4 countries out of the 190th country, you know, in the world. About 4 countries, young people and still people, them kind of weird, you know. And them know the human rights are going to come from them. And all them things. So them are more of a Jamaica now really have not the big talk about them or young people and them. And this man up on the radio tell people say them should have 5 gallons, one of this, one of that, one of get a forward, then I tell people say everybody say have gun. In a place like Jamaica where man.
But let's not repeat it though, because I feel like even to repeat it is to give it credibility that it don't deserve. You started at the right place. Montague is an irrelevant voice.
To buy police car to fight crime. That's every station can have a car. When the people them call, you can have a car to respond. No, we don't get the police car then. And people are
so let's
over. Them tainted, man,
stay with. I want you to stay with your fundamental point that the speaker is an irrelevant, discredited voice, and nothing that person says should be considered as important for the resolution of any issue we're having in Jamaica. Because even to repeat his ideas is to give it strength. There are some things that just have to die.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, my brother. We have another caller on the line.
We're on the break.
Oh, it's time for the break. Oh, 9:30. Thank you. I wouldn't even repeat.
A difference you can feel.
Best FM 100 on your dial. Keep listening.
What should a taxi service do for you? On-time taxi service is more than just a ride to the other side of town. They offer clean and spacious vehicles, reliable service, and promise to always look out for their customers. They'll come when you call and take you where you want to go on time.
From anywhere at all. You can call us on 926-3866.
We are something special on the road.
Veg Printers for all your printing needs. We specialize in calendars, flyers, brochures, and more. Call us today at 968-7506. That's 968-7506. Or visit us at 4 East Bloomsbury Road, off Hagley Park Road. Veg Printers, your best choice in printing.
Half a tree, one and drive, half a tree. Bossy, away I do I take taxi start?
Jano, I want to tell you, say, at 2 months now, my transmission mash up, you know, and I check everybody and can't hear nothing positive.
Yeah, hear me? Yeah, waste all that time I shop around and never call the experts. Winters Auto have them. Them have over 35 years of experience and them diagnose the problem and get back your transmission brand new. For them service excellent and efficient. Trust me, man. Yeah, hear me? Call them at 929-7040 or go to them at 106 Maxfield Avenue, Kingston 13 and talk directly to the boss. Just tell them I'm me, send you.
Wow, you big star. Yeah, man, respect my boss.
I try calling because trust me.
Waiters Auto Spares and Repairs, good afternoon.
Ah, what a relief.
Say, let not your hearts be troubled. Just believe in God Almighty and daily renew the mind. As we live in this time when fake is more valued than real, lies prefer the truth, the unnatural put above the natural. This is Lady Donna, aka Double D Donna, with a new song, Almighty Jah, encouraging your people to keep the faith. God will make a way. Get your copy today. It's on all digital platforms. Lady Donna Official on Instagram, Facebook, AsujaRecords.com. For bookings, Asuja Record Label at Gmail. Almighty Jah!
The Morning Connection is not your usual talk show. We aim to stimulate discussion and chart new paths to self-empowerment. So please join us, Minette and Percy, on The Morning Connection, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Best 100 FM.
It's good, it's better, but nothing beats.
Welcome back and good morning to the caller online.
Good morning, Miss Minetti and Mr. Lawrence.
Good morning.
Daily. I can't say much right now because I was stopped in credit with the ads, with the break. But anyway, something that's been bearing on my mind heavily.
Yes.
You know, we took God out of this country, right? And our leaders have done that, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, what do we get? We are asking the Satanists to rule this country. Somebody mentioned about getting the churches more involved, going to the churches, but that is where a big part of where the nastiness is mixed up in. The Satanist workers are mixed up in the church. The church is riddled with this thing. I don't know what freedom we have to talk about, Lord, but I'll just leave it at that for now. I think we may speak off air where that is concerned. But if the umbrella of churches is mixed up in, real nastiness, the umbrella of churches mixed up, and I'm not saying it's everybody. You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
And everybody can pick sense out of nonsense. So if we, who are supposed to be teaching people right from wrong, teaching our children, and it's not there because we begin by taking God from them, by taking God out of the school. We had, no matter how short it was, we had devotion every morning. It wasn't forcing anybody who didn't want to take part to take part. It wasn't a case of anybody rebelling anyway against it, but it was good because we started with talking about God, and we ended school with talking about God, even if it was a song that we sang that meant something decent, something with principle. Now, how can we be worshiping? I call it worshiping the Queen after what they did to us. No end of this. No end of this. How can you be designating 12 days for mourning? Who wants to mourn her death? Go and mourn her death privately if you want to, but don't come and impose this on the Jamaican people who have suffered bitterly and are still suffering more than bitterly at their hands. You know, the whole thing just makes me feel this.
Yes, but you know, it really is necessary for some of these things to come out in the open so people can examine themselves and find their true feelings about it. I thank you for sharing yours this morning. It is not dissimilar. What you're feeling, not dissimilar to what I'm feeling. It's just bizarre. I think we will hear from the Prime Minister's office, or somehow an explanation will be given that there was a miscalculation of the period of worship. It cannot be that the Prime Minister of Jamaica really thinks that the Queen deserves 2 additional days of mourning from the black people in Jamaica when her own people who actually know her and maybe really love her are mourning 10 days. It cannot be. That has to be an error. And if he doesn't realize it's an error, I am offering him the opportunity to say it was an error in the calculation. Apologize for it, and we move on. Her passing is an opportunity, and I don't want Jamaicans
but even 10
to
days
miss it.
are long. We don't need to do that.
We don't need to do no 10 days,
We
and
acknowledge
nobody
it,
will be doing it except the official apparatus of state. Will keep the flag at half mast, as we probably would for another head of state who is connected to us and pass away. They will do their official thing, sign their book, and do whatever it is they want to do. But the rest of Jamaica will
continues.
move on. In fact, I feel more about my sister's mom who passed away than I do about the Queen.
And Mr. and Mrs. Lawrence, please note that most of the times I call, I will still point out that if the head of the stream is dirty, then the bottom must be dirty. The corruption is not coming.
It flows downward.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
It's not.
Yes.
It flows.
Coming from the top, filtered
It flows downward. It flows downward.
We have extortionists running the country. The
You know.
police don't speak to us, it's the extortionists speak to the people through the police. That's how it's running.
Well, you heard the busman, you heard the driver or conductor just now explain that when the police issue the ticket, they deliver it to the extortionist who come to collect his due. So it is an arrangement.
I have my own experience with that. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. And we have to stand up and stamp it out, and God help us. And we need more prayer.
Yes.
Yes,
We need
definitely.
praying people
Thank you,
to
my
come
dear.
together.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Yes.
Okay.
There was an article in Sunday's paper, with the leaders of civil society calling on government to cut ties with the with criminals. Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Connection.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What? The Queen light the fire this morning, man.
Oh, listen, man.
All the people that go crazy over the Queen. The Queen are mad people all in our dead, man.
All in our dead. From Friday, she departed and she's been running the front pages.
Don't be cool on your fire a little bit, man. No, man, just love it, make it go on, man, because most of people love the pump and pandering tree, you know.
Yes, somebody. You know? Yes.
Me talk to them, they love it. When we go on social media, I burn out the Queen, then cuss me.
I want to burn you out.
Send fire your way.
You have to be careful what you say about the Queen, and then you have to be careful because Andrew and the PMP, them can really turn them back against the supreme leader for the land who won all of the crown land, you know, because this guy, we come in. And me and I say, my mama. Somebody said to me, you never give up on your dreams because 73 still getting up.
He's getting crowned. I remember at one point, you know, she was pushing it past him to his son. So
she should have given him a long time, man. Him being background not nasty, really. You know, I don't know him will survive. But I think he might get nasty and want to take over back.
She never liked her daughter-in-law. That's why. It's as simple as that. She never liked Camilla.
It's a different world, though. Yeah. Now getting a chance to get nasty.
So they have to make sure, say, at the parliament, what you call this, Abby Westminster write a speech and give me yesterday, say, listen, you have to tell the people, them say, you're not getting out of politics because, you know, you're still in politics.
Say this and no more. Yeah, but while he was king in waiting, he was going around and saying the right things and showing that he was more concerned about environmental issues and releasing people and human rights and so on. He wasn't displaying a great deal of interest in politics. But you're right, when the crown settled on his head, he might decide to do something very different. He chose a name because you can decide what name you will use as king, and he has chosen to align himself with another Charles. He's Charles III. Charles II's reign is something we should look at to see why he chose that particular line to follow. Maybe there's something in the policies preferred by Charles II that he wants to continue. Because these people, symbolism is very very powerful in how they make their choices. Here, the young lady just now was saying, everybody worships something. So we're going to have to figure out if anything in Charles' DNA should be of concern to us.
He want to take some revenge for all of what he's been through. He want, make some people pay.
Well, that's on their side of the fence. We need to get out of the way, which is really, I think, what some of us are thinking.
But we can't. We are stuck, because unless after them constitution, a rule we see them here. After them constitution, so unless we change the constitution, we are pretty much doomed still in this minute.
Well, I believe that we need to change the constitution. That's the thing they left with us. We've not tampered with it much. We've just, codified the section on human rights. But there are a lot of other things in it that that need attention. Let me put it that way. And we need to get on with it.
It's just like Curry. Curry, I said them both be get out Curry and Curry. I said no, the provision in the Constitution never lawful invoke. That means even he might use the Queen Constitution.
No, it wouldn't be that Constitution. No, the one he's talking about wouldn't be that Constitution, because the people of Akampong have their own Constitution, which they would be seeking to enforce. And I don't have proper information on what really happened there, but it sounds like something was attempted, which Curry is saying didn't work, and others were putting out reports that they had ousted him from office.
The elders vote to replace him.
Yes.
So I thought the elders is just like Africa, where the elders vote, the chief. That's who run the village.
And there must be some system by which that process is triggered and the results recognized. But I have to get some information on it.
I hope the Queen didn't left a will and with reparation starting because
listen to me, man.
When I agree say him did protect Selassie still, she did protect Selassie when Selassie died for runway still, so me see I have a picture with Selassie,
so she gets a little credit for that.
All right.
Yeah, a little credit for that. All
right, my brother. Thank you so much.
All right, yes.
All the best.
Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, morning, Ms. Minetti.
Welcome.
Yeah, morning, Mr. Lance.
Morning.
I always hear this narrative, being pushed, where crime is concerned and why we are so, our numbers are so high in crime because, there are not any devotion in the schools or we are taking God out of our society. But what I realized, though, there are countries in Europe that don't even practice religion, but their crime rates are so low. There are not even much churches there, and they are one of the lowest crime rates. So, I don't want to associate our high crime rate to religion. I think our high crime rate has to do with the way how we think, behave. So it is more a social problem.
Well, here we say heart. It's a heart problem, meaning how your conscience operate, which I think is the same thing you're alluding to.
That's right.
And we don't say it's religion either. For the same reason, we have the most churches that any country could hope for. So we don't lack knowledge of religious practices and doctrine, yet we are the way we are. So yes, it's the heart.
And we are not short on prayer because, we have every year a prayer breakfast. and we have one, called Healing Nation.
And even if we're not asking God to save us, we're asking God to save the Queen in every public place that we get to speak. So yes. So talk to me more about that now. How do we get that turnaround?
What, the Queen?
Not the Queen. The Queen is irrelevant to me.
I think we need to go back to characteristics. I realize in the scripture.
Yes.
It is not being emphasized much in the churches about characteristics. It is more what is more preached in religion, include Christianity, is more doctrine of the particular denomination. So if you're a Pentecostal, you preach more on, speaking in tongues and, hell or heaven and those sort of preaching. But little is being said about the characteristics that person should have, love, humility, kindness, those kind of stuff. Little is placed on that. And I think if we instill characteristics, in each gathering where we are, at church, at school, if you teach persons those basic principles, I think when persons go out and they have their differences, they will, deal with it better. Because right now, most persons, when there is indifference, the first thing comes is to kill.
Yes.
Not love.
Yes.
Yeah, there is no humility. And so these are the things, and I think every religion, I can tell you, whether it be Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, they all teach characteristics. It is in their book, whether it be Bible, their Quran, whatever. And so it's a basic principle that no one can say, well, then it is only confined to one religion or, So it's a principle that is beyond religion. It's a human principle. And I think that is what countries that are more atheists, but yet their crime rates are more low than ours because, they have
They have instilled in their institutional arrangements those principles of honor and respect and character, integrity. But yeah, undoubtedly, we often say when that issue comes up that a lot of those countries are called post-Christian countries, meaning they went through their period of revival and upheaval and believing in God and pursuing God, and then they move past it to the point where they adopt the best principles coming out of the religious practices and they dispose of God. Because if you are using the principles and the laws, then they will produce a particular result. But then when supernatural or extraordinary events hit those countries, like when COVID, when a virus started to walk through those places now, you see them asking again, where is God?
Where is God?
So there is a cycle which these things follow. But you're absolutely right that those principles of justice, honor, righteousness, respect, communalism, those are principles which come out of a God system.
And I just want to say that this forum might not be the best place to discuss it, but I think it's something that we need to look at deeper, because clearly, whereas you might not have the violence, there are other things that are happening, and usually there's a reason for everything that happens under the sun. So this is a discussion that we could advance, but, maybe at another time.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
You are most welcome.
All the very best.
So I'm actually following my own advice and just taking a look at King Charles II of England, the one whose name Charles has chosen to continue. And he is being credited with some very good work in the area of restoration, like he was a reform king.
Yes.
I'm going to read it some more and share it with you at a later date, because we're getting close to the cutoff point for when we take calls. Do we have another call?
No.
We're in the call. All right. So I'm going to read it and share it, because it's like when you're christened and you choose a name. He's gone into he's taking up this position now, and he has chosen a name, and others have said, oh, you chose to continue as Charles III. So the next thing is to look at who Charles II was, and I'm looking at it. And Charles II was a reformer. So I'm gonna see what that means, what that could mean for Jamaica. One of the things I see right away is that this restoration agenda that he pursued was accompanied by great social change. Puritanism lost its momentum. That's interesting. Theaters reopened after having been closed. Theater licenses were granted. Women were able to enter, so men didn't have to pretend to be boys. Men didn't have to pretend to be girls. They used to use boys as women in the various things. And then, he reigned in the time of the Great Plague and the Great Fire. All right, more on that tomorrow, if we're going to look at if we're going to prophesy for Charles III.
Yes. I just want to take this opportunity to appeal for calm. I know the bus drivers are having their issues. I know the police are having their issues. I know the authorities, the transport authorities. Let us come together and solve the problem. Let us listen to each other. Let us respect each other's rights, and let us find a solution. Right now, it is a standoff between all the parties. And this is not a time that we need to have that standoff, because there are more external forces to us that is of a bigger threat than we might be to each other. So we need to just let good sense prevail in this situation. People need to get to work, and people need to work. And so each party need to do what they can to facilitate it.
Very well, sir. Well, thank you very much to all of those who are online and on air listening to us. Earl Brown, I want you to check out Charles I's reign and tell me what we can learn from it, since Charles III is now sitting on the throne And Jamaica didn't seize the opportunity to distance itself. You know, I'm going to research this too. I love history. I think the protocol, when one king dies or when the monarchy is changing, the throne is going through change, is for them to reach out and secure fresh re-engagement of alliances with the international world. They don't take it for granted that because you were a friend to my father, you'll be a friend to the son. They usually seek to, you know, kind of reignite the flames of friendship and allegiance. We didn't even give them a chance to reach out to us and say, we're going to continue on the same path, because they can reject us too. We just went right into it, embracing it as if we have no other thought. Shame on the leaders of the country who just simply let the moment pass like that. I can tell you, many of the citizens are not in favor of it. And who knows? My prayer is that before she died, Mommy said to son, let them go. Cut the ties. We've lingered in this place for too long. So maybe that is the gift she gave us on her dying bed, because she said that we don't have the will or the brains to secure our own release. It is an embarrassment. Still, I thank you for participating. Producer man, thank you so much for running the mics. Engineer, Miss Eden, thank you very much. I have to announce something for tomorrow.
And Pastor Percy.
And Pastor Percy.
You were asking about the name of the area. A lady called to say it's Navy Island.
And to the listener who is helping me out this morning, Navy Island, that beautiful little island purchased by Errol Flynn in the 50s or whenever, 40s, whatever time it was, still there languishing. You know, I had heard it rumored that one of the princes of this land bought it and has done nothing with it. In fact, in anticipation of a great investment, we put public money into building out the marina in Portland, and everything has been sitting idle. The many yachts and wealthy people whom we were hoping to entertain are yet to arrive. That's just another criticism on how we spend public funds chasing after the tourism dream when there's so much to be done at home. Have a blessed day, everyone. And yes, Conrad, thank you. We will walk good.
Them can't take my soul, you know.